All sports, all the time.
There's heroes and there's legends. Heroes get remembered. Legends never die.
This is the Spoken Podcast.
Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
I'm your host, Lance Twidwell.
Man, that kid, he can ball, man. He can ball.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
Patrick freaking Mahomes, baby!
Let's talk some sports, because that's what we're here to do.
You are tuned in to The Spoken.
This is the Spoken Podcast. I'm your host, Lance Twidwell, here inside the Starcade Media Studios with my guy, Trevor Twidwell.
Was good.
Episode 302 is now in full swing, full motion. I'm so happy to be with you and for you to be here with us, whether you are live streaming, podcasting, or YouTubing. We want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us in this time as we have a badass show for you guys today. Kick-ass, badass, all the ass is going to be here today. You got two asses hanging out with you guys. Welcome to the Ass Show. That's what it's all about today, guys. We are really stoked, and it's beyond belief, guys, to be here. Over 300 episodes. I'm still talking about that. I know that was 3 episodes ago when we eclipsed 300. We're still very proud of it, and we are going for 400 bitches. So just go ahead and tag along with us. If you've not already done it, go ahead and do it. I tell you at the show, top of the show, I tell you at the bottom of the show. Go to youtube.com. Very popular site I hear these days. And go to the Spoken Podcast. If you would be so kind, hit notify, share, comment, all that stuff. And I say comment because we have a segment, and especially today, we're going to need your guys' help. We have a segment called Speak It, where you guys take over the entire show, whatever questions you guys have. We get as interactive as any show out there. I can honestly say that. There's a lot of really good shows in the Chiefs community. They're very interactive. I'm not trying to say that we're more interactive than anybody else. What I can say is that we will be just as interactive as anybody else on this show. I can guarantee you that. And that segment is dedicated specifically to that specific situation. So we want you guys to be a part of the show as much as possible. So go ahead and do that if you guys would be so kind. We've had a lot of growth on YouTube. We want to continue to grow there as well. But Trev, first and foremost, before we really dive into anything, man, how are you doing this week? How did everything go? I know that our show's a little bit delayed today. That's usually acceptable because of the fact that we have volleyball games, which are very, very important to our family because our niece Scarlett, Trevor's daughter, rather, is kicking ass and doing her thing. So how did everything go, man?
That was good, bro. I mean, first of all, glad to be here. Second, they won one, lost one. The first game they lost was a close one, but the team was really good there facing, so kudos to them. They brought it. But yeah, man, Scarlett played well, had an ace. She's continuing to get better every week, man. So it's been a fun little journey seeing her do all this stuff. So hopefully SportsCenter top 10 will be the eventual the goal there. So no, it's good, man. Good. I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to recap on some of these games.
We live. Like I said, guys, go ahead and jump on in, get in the chat now. Whatever you guys want to talk about. It doesn't have to be questions. You guys got takes, man. That's what it's all about. Get in the comments. We will put that on the screen all day as long as we're on the show. Even after the show, man, you guys get in the comments as well, man. There's a lot of people that are in the community that like to talk amongst themselves. We welcome that as well. You don't have to necessarily even address Trevor and I. You guys can be talking.
Talk your shit.
Yeah, talk your shit. Do what you do. But in the meantime, Trevor, it is time, without further ado, it is time for Lance Rants.
Can I scream? Yeah! We're back on motion! But I'm gonna do me!
So I did not lie to you in the opener when I said that we wanted this to be a very community-driven show. Specifically today, we want you guys to be as involved as possible in this show today because today is going to be a little bit of a different show. Usually we start this thing with a bunch of me ranting and raving, and Trevor kind of brings me back to earth, and we have some back and forths. That's not so much what we're going to do today. I really want to take a moment. We're going to obviously talk to you guys a little bit about these conference matchups that we just saw, the conference championship recaps. Obviously, the Eagles taking down the Commanders, and we know the Chiefs taking down the Bills. We're going to take a minute and break those games down in just a second, but I do want to take this time and really relish where we're at. What do I mean by that? Well, thematically, for the last couple of months, I've been on this show, been on Arrowhead Allies, and I've been intentionally wearing the same damn outfit every single show like an absolute idiot. but there's a theme behind it because of the relaxed vibe that I've been getting from this team, even though they don't play exciting like they did from 2018 to 2021. The explosive plays aren't there as much. Questioning whether this team still had it. They had that championship pedigree to still get it done at the end of the day, or was it Buffalo and Baltimore's turn? Is it Joe Burrow who's still going to miss the playoffs yet still win the Super Bowl somehow? Like, where are we at? That's kind of where everyone's been fixating. And I've been sitting back, and to Trevor's credit as well, he's been sharing the sentiments, just maybe not as outwardly as I am. We've been very, very confident in this team moving forward this season. Trevor and I both penciled it in to win the Super Bowl. We've stuck by that all season long. Not necessarily a hot take, but as the season progressed, people started to get a little frustrated with the Chiefs because there was a myriad of injuries. There were a lot of concerns on both sides of the ball whether they were going to be able to get to this, what we call the three-peat. Pat Riley, don't sue us.
Yeah.
But we are in that midst. We are at that forefront. We are on the cusp of seeing that history be taking place. And a lot of times we get lost in the weeds of just dissecting the game so much. And it's fun to do that. I love the X's and O's. That's something I obsess over. I love listening to people far smarter than me in football breaking down the X's and O's and why the Chiefs have a favorable matchup or why the Eagles have favorable matchups here and there. I love that stuff. But I also want to take some time and be a fan for a little bit and pump the brakes just a little bit and just enjoy this. Because that's something I don't do enough, and that goes across the board in my life. I am somebody who gets so bogged down with the routine, with things that I got going on in my life, and sometimes I really just need to smell the flowers, man. And people can say that's sentimental, that's whatever you want to call it. But that's what we've been waiting our whole lives for moments like this. We never thought, and we were just talking on Arrowhead Allies on Tuesday. We had the great Pat Mahomes Sr. on our show. Great time. Hopefully you guys go and watch that if you haven't already. It's on our YouTube channel. Pat is just, I love the man. He's just a great person. I consider him a really good friend, and very, very pleased and honored to have him in my life and to have him as a part of this community. And, that's something I talked to him about was, what is your experience? Because I always like to ask him questions about him and his experience, because it's hard for, even though, he's close to his son, he obviously is, to Patrick. I don't like to put Pat in a situation where he has to answer for his son.
Yeah.
I like him to answer from his perspective on everything, because that's only right. That's only fair. And I asked him a question in our episode about, what has your experience been like with Chiefs fans? When you open yourself and your family up to me and people like Shaggy, Shane, and Trev, and Clay Windler and other people that you've met throughout the years, we appreciated that so much. But there's also been a give and take where fans also had to bring you in as well. You guys had to become a part of this community as well. What's that been like for you? And knowing Pat being a person that's not a bullshitter, somebody that does not just say things to say things, he was very candid in his response. And I don't want to paraphrase, so I'm not even going to try to, but what he basically said was, this is exactly what my family and I and my son and everybody else wanted out of a community. Obviously, them winning the way that they are has made it so much better. And it's so much, it makes it what it is, but the people are what make this situation more what it is. And that's what I really appreciate, that because so many of us have waited our whole lives just to see this team get to one AFC championship, let alone a Super Bowl, let alone 5 of 6.
7 straight AFC championship games.
7 straight AFC. I mean,
that's insane.
Nobody thought this would ever happen here.
Yeah.
That's why, as much as we get arrogant sometimes, we're like, oh, thank you for the receipts and things like that. In the back of my head, I'm always like, man, I remember being not even just a little kid. I remember being in my early 20s, thinking about, man, are we ever going to see it? Are we ever going to see this franchise do anything? I was legit afraid and fearful, Trev, and I know you felt the same way because we grew up together.
Yeah. Waiting for the other shoe to drop, man.
Oh, yeah, is it ever going to happen? When we saw Marcus Mariota catching his own fucking pass for a touchdown in just 2017, I'm thinking, we're cursed. Now, obviously, the horizon looked bright because we knew Patrick Mahomes was at the helm. He was coming.
Yeah.
So we believed in him, and we knew that he was going to change things. But even to the very end of the era before him, it was heartbreak.
Yeah, even bringing Alex Smith over here, and we started a winning culture. It was like, is this real though? And it really wasn't to a degree because we were limited by the quarterback position. But yeah, the Patrick Mahomes entrance is what was the game.
It changed everything. Yeah. That's why, and I know we there's always going to be this debate, and now people are starting. It's so funny. Now we're even hearing our guy like Colin Cowherd starting to use this. If you took Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes and switched them, and Patrick Mahomes had Sean McDermott and Josh Allen had Andy Reid, Josh Allen would have more Super Bowls. It's so funny how we're doing this now.
You'll never know, and who cares?
Yeah, exactly, because all. Yeah, and if I didn't have my balls, I'd probably be a woman, guys. Like, that's how it goes.
Okay, yeah,
like,
put Dan Marino on the Niners.
Yeah, like we can do all that stuff all day long. Yes.
Bro?
But you can't take away from it. And just a sidebar, Trevor, I find it hilarious, and I don't know if you noticed this or not, but there's been this big driving narrative now, and to the naked eye, it seems innocent.
I already know where you're going.
Yeah, but I love how now, like Mike Greenberg and some of these other people are saying, Jim Gray, they suggested that now there should be a major award in the Super Bowl that's named after Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Is it not coincidental
It's more
to
than
you?
just that. There's a whole other bunch of rhetoric about the Patriots going on right now.
Oh, yeah. But do you not find it funny that coincidentally, now that the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes in particular
bring back the attention to Tom Brady again.
Yeah, it feels very Last Dance-ish. It feels very Last Dance-ish.
Of course, man.
Where when LeBron comes back from 3-1 against the Warriors. Before then, Michael did not want to do that mockumentary.
Yeah.
And I called it a mockumentary because it was not a real documentary,
Right.
guys. It was all from MJ's point of view.
It was a Michael-mentary.
It was a Michael. Thank you. Very well said. As soon as LeBron got the 3-1 against the Warriors, who ordered the release of the Last Dance? Michael Jordan, because he wanted to take back the narrative.
Yeah, because a three-peat will trump 7 rings.
Yes.
Over what? 2.5 decades.
Yes.
So I mean,
not to do what Brady did was unbelievably
no, I know,
great.
7 rings, saying that out loud sounds silly, but a three-peat is something that has never been done before.
And who knows that better than Tom? And I'm not even mad at Brady.
Yeah.
Because he was the one that came out with this. And I think he's a little less petty than Michael Jordan is. Actually, a lot less
He's been
petty.
nothing but supportive and,
Yes.
and gloats over Patrick.
Yes.
Gets a chance. So,
So I don't even want to try to make the comparison between Brady and Michael and their
different.
pettiness. But what I'm saying
It's
is
a media thing.
there's a gate. I remember I said this a couple weeks ago about the gatekeeper community that's out there now.
Of course, dude.
Where they don't want someone else to be the GOAT yet. They're not ready for that. That's what's happening.
Yeah.
We're seeing that now on the other side. We're sitting here really embracing that we're seeing the greatest football player ever leading our franchise that was the woe is me franchise forever.
Yeah.
And on the other side, it's like, well, shit. Patrick's taking over so quick. He's not even 30 years old.
It's because
let's give Tom Brady an award.
Yeah,
let's
Patrick
give
is
one.
now the villain to those legacies.
Yes.
He is now the villain of those legacies. It was a beautiful thing. Everyone was on his nuts when he was the shiny new toy and he was taking, no-look throws and the behind-the-back stuff and all this stuff.
Everybody loved the Chiefs.
Now that it's like, he might win 3 in a row and do something that's never been done and will probably never, ever be done again. Maybe it's let alone how difficult that is in sports.
Right.
Or in sports in general, but
it hasn't happened in
basketball,
22 years.
So he's going to do something that's never been done in this sport.
It hasn't happened in America in 20 years.
Right.
Not just football. It's never happened in football.
Right.
So, yeah, we hadn't happened in any sport. And that's what I really did find that. I just wanted to sidebar that one. I just found that, and I'm glad you picked up on it as well.
Of course, man.
Because that's just too coincidental to me that all of a sudden Tom Brady's getting this. They're suggesting this. It's very, and I think it's going to happen too. I think it's just very funny that's
Probably.
all of a sudden happening. But no, I really hope that everybody, and I don't know what the chat's saying right now, I'm not really checking it, Trevor. I'm just kind of going at this is mostly just a freestyle today.
Yeah.
I really hope that you guys are enjoying this because it is stressful because when your team's on top, everyone's gunning for you. People try to downplay and discredit what the Chiefs are doing. I think I'll go as far as say this, Trevor. I think the Chiefs are the most disrespected championship team I've ever seen. And maybe that's biased because I'm a Kansas City fan. I see it too closely.
Miami Heat was pretty close.
That's fair. I will say that's probably
super
fair.
team bullshit and acting like that was brand new.
Yeah, that was the first one ever do it. Yeah.
That shit got really, really redundant and really old. Yeah, exactly. So I was saying that was very disrespectful. But yeah, this is close.
I'll say this in football,
especially
even with the Patriots
without question,
without
even question. Especially if they pull this off and they get the three-peat and the disrespect continues because it's going to.
Yep.
They're going to try to find any way they can to belittle what kind of obstacle this was to overcome for any sports team in any sport. They're going to try to belittle and make it seem minuscule, and it's going to be hilarious to watch if we get this done, man.
I mean, the Chiefs have broken the minds of so many people. We have porcelain teeth, Will Compton. First thing this morning out the gate, he's talking about the Chiefs, about him and his dad having this conversation about the Chiefs.
He's funny, but when it comes to the Chiefs talk,
it's
like,
unbearable.
He doesn't know what he's talking about. It's wild.
They have broken the minds. I saw Total Pro Sports saying that back in the day, you couldn't beat Tom Brady. Now you're not allowed to beat Patrick Mahomes. It's like.
Yeah, and the it's so wild too, bro. Like there's this resurgence, and the timing obviously is impeccable and hilarious here. But like the defense that everyone's coming out and like whitewashing the history of the Patriots and like trying to make them like look like the Patriots would have never done this. Oh, if Patrick Mahomes would have took that hit, they would have just gave him the ring. And all these different all these narratives are coming out about the Patriots, how they won it the hard way, and everyone's just wanting to forget all the cheating scandals, all the things that went on during. I mean, Tom Brady not even winning several MVPs in the Super Bowl because he wasn't even the reason they won those games.
Yeah,
I mean, let's be honest, man. There's several things that are tainted in that dynasty. Granted, a dynasty nonetheless. But the fact that all these people are big time talking heads and all over social media as well. All these little clips and things like that are coming out about trying to defend the Patriots' lore and legacy. It is so obvious what's happening right now. Man. It's hilarious.
It is gatekeeping. We're willing to now tone down or water down, like you said, whitewash a franchise that for 20 years had nothing but cheating scandals attached to it. Now, maybe some of them weren't as true as some led on, but we do know they lost draft picks, and players like Tom Brady were suspended because of these scandals. Yeah. That means there's validity to them. They don't just suspend players, especially the name of names and Tom Brady.
And the guy destroyed his phone. And all this, come on, dude.
You don't do that. Sure, if you weren't guilty of something, you going outside smashing your phone?
I remember. I know, right?
You know what I'm saying?
I remember his excuses I was getting a new phone. I destroy every phone I get. No, you don't, dude. Most people turn those in and trade them in towards a new phone or whatever. I get it. Maybe different for a celebrity, but still, you don't just destroy your phone, bro. That doesn't happen. So,
well, I want to get as many people, Trevor, on the chat.
I'm putting everybody's comments up there that aren't questions. So
I appreciate all you guys.
Know that I'm putting it in there, people.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate everybody that's chiming in, guys, because we want you guys to know that the reason we do the show to begin with is for you guys a platform, an opportunity, because some shows don't do that as much, or they're a little bit more crowded than maybe our show is. So you're getting the VIP treatment here, man, and I want you guys, like I said, to know that we enjoy seeing you guys happy, because it makes us happy to know that there are other people out there that share the same passion and interest to see this team succeed. Because yes, it hasn't been as fun. I would say that the 2019 run was probably the most fun Super Bowl run, right?
The build up, yeah,
and the way the Chiefs were scoring points and stuff like that. It's more fun to play football and watch football like that.
Yeah,
it hasn't been as fun these last couple of Super Bowls. But
business.
Say that out loud.
It's business, baby.
But say that out loud.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the last couple of Super Bowls haven't been as fun. Now we're getting to that place where we're sitting here dissecting whether the Super Bowl run's been as fun as others. I never thought those words would be out of my mouth in a serious manner, unless I had a few suds and we're sitting here laughing and joking about a world that never existed,
right.
A simulation that never existed. No, we're in a real situation here, guys. Where and this is something I brought up. Trevor, real side note. I'm going all over the place here, but
you're good.
We hear about the possibility that this might be Travis Kelce's last game.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with a really good friend of mine this week, and they were asking me that question. Do you think that this is it for Travis? And I know that a lot of signs and indications point to that being the case, because to that point, what better way to go out than a three-peat? There's no better way, right? Yeah. Unless there's a four-peat. And I don't know if you noticed, Trevor.
All signs point to us being better next year. So
I don't know if you saw. Yeah, healthier. I don't know if you saw it, but the current odds right now, who the leader is for to win the Super Bowl next year is?
That'd be the Chiefs. Right?
That'd be the Chiefs. Yeah. So I think they're plus 500 right now. So I'm looking at this. I'm thinking, if I'm Travis Kelce, knowing that I no longer have to carry the load like I did for the majority of my career, at least in the Mahomes era, and I can be a part of something that is not only historical this time, but we could be historic next time with a year left on my contract. I might want to do this again.
Yeah, he can lean into that Antonio Gates role, just be like a third down guy and a
end zone guy, red zone guy. Yeah. Exactly. And here's the biggest thing: if Patrick Mahomes, like I've said this on the show before, if Patrick was 37, 38 years old, I'd be like, man, Travis. He might want to.
He's got a lot going on in his personal life.
Yeah, Andy Reid's retired already. He's been gone for a few years, and Travis has been trying to hold on. I can see it. But knowing that Andy Reid's going nowhere, Spags is going to be back next year, Brett Veach is going absolutely nowhere.
Right.
Patrick Mahomes is just entering his prime years. All the indications and, quite frankly, all the incentives for Travis Kelce to stay another year are there. And with him being healthy, knowing that this team plays for Super Bowls and only Super Bowls, knowing that Taylor Swift, if we're going to bring her into the conversation, which we have to, I guess,
kind of have to.
She is supportive as hell of his love for the game and wanting him to. She said she literally wants him to keep playing.
Yeah.
So it's like, what more do you want to hear? Your woman, who is the most popular human on this planet right now, is telling you to keep playing.
People want him to retire so bad outside of Chiefs Kingdom. People want Travis Kelce. That would be one of the best things that happen this offseason if that happens for the rest of the NFL and fans. they would want nothing more because they think the fix is in for the Swifties, which we were winning Super Bowls before the Swifties even arrived here. Yeah, and I like that you were bringing up too, like how fun it was in 2019 and 2018 that run to almost made the Super Bowl, and then 2019 getting over the hump, and the way we won. I think that's fun to like kind of revisit too, because I think those years, the early years when Pat wins, granted the defenses weren't as good, so we kind of felt more obligated to do those things. But I think now what makes us we're a mature team now, and there's a true formula to how we win games. We don't win all these one-score games for no reason. Right, there's a formula. We have ways of winning, being the best team in the league at situational football.
Right,
and I think that's something that shows the growth of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and the guys around. I think there's just a maturity to this team, and I think there's a true formula to just winning games, not having to do it with flash, not having to do with all these things. With all these teams going for it on fourth down every single time and doing all that stuff, and leaning into all the analytics. We don't do all that stuff.
Right.
Yet we continue just to win. And the last couple Super Bowls we won, these back-to-back Super Bowls we won were not sexy. And the seasons were rough to watch. But we continue just to win a bunch of games. I think we learned a shit ton, especially last season, going through what we went through, having to go on the road in the playoffs, obviously, but having the lack of talent and still finding ways to get where we needed to go, and then going on the road in the postseason and winning against incredible, talented teams. That was the most impressive Super Bowl win of this era, for sure, without question. So I just think there's a true formula, man. Pat doesn't have to go out there and throw for 4,545.
Right.
He doesn't have to do that because there's a little bit more of an Alex Smith-esque way about it. But we all know that Pat has he's 7 for 7 in game-winning drives in the postseason, game-tying, game-winning drives. That stat alone is insane. Yeah. He's never not done it.
Right.
So we know he has that when we need him to be. But reeling in Pat a little bit and kind of taming him a little bit, I think was the best thing for his maturity in the game, and it shows.
Well, and also, let's take into consideration, Trevor, the fact that the Chiefs are always, every single year, drafting at the end of the first round. Yeah. Or not at all, because they've traded their first-round pick for an Orlando Brown Jr. or Frank Clark.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the difficulty of what the Chiefs have been able to do year in and year out, being in contention every single season, is so fucking unprecedented, because that alone, how difficult that – this is why I've always said, and I know it sounds like, well, of course you're saying that you're a Chiefs fan now, with the way things are, but I've always felt the NFL builds a structure of almost punishing you for being great. I think the NFL should say, hey, look, and I know we've talked about this in the past, there should be a lottery for the best 5 teams. You guys get a lottery, and the random gets you guys are all guaranteed a top 5 pick.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of teams that tank every year, and these owners never put money into the team.
That's why the NBA does it right.
Racking up cash.
The NBA does it right.
Yes, they have a lottery. The NFL should have a lottery to where the Chiefs have a shot at getting the number 1 pick after winning the Super Bowl.
And it stops.
Is it likely? No.
And it stops fucking some of these young quarterbacks coming to the league going to shitty teams.
It builds quality, because what it does, it takes away tanking completely.
Yeah.
Team stops tanking.
Yeah.
And what it does, it puts you in a position of, hey, we just had a great season, and we might get one of the 10 best players in the draft. We don't have to trade up. We can just get a luck of the draw. And again, the percentages would be low for the Chiefs to get that number 1 overall pick, but the percentages would actually be there. They win the Super Bowl, they know they're getting the 32nd overall pick unless they trade out.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see that anymore for the NFL, and that goes beyond the Chiefs era.
And it leans into the competitiveness and the parity of the game too, even more so. It makes things less predictable, because everyone knew Caleb Williams was going. Everyone knew those guys, the Bryce Young and the C.J. Stroud. We knew those guys were top 2 picks. Like it kind of forces the hand of other teams to make, moves that maybe they wouldn't that early on, or it allows teams, like you said, not to tank. And I think that's a massive thing, dude. Allowing teams not to tank in the NFL is a, because because things get uncompetitive towards the end when teams have kind of just like waved the white flag.
Right.
And that's frustrating to watch.
A couple comments I want to get to. One from Julia Gulli and John Harrison, who was just on the screen. John did say, I'm old. I experienced enough. Not fun during losing seasons from 1975 to 1990. Sitting at Arrowhead.
Shit.
Sitting at Arrowhead when there's 15,000 people in that stadium. I was seeing not fun. This is magical. I actually found out, Trevor, at Arrowhead Allies this week, that John Harrison is buddies with Shaggy Shane's older brother, Kevin.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's kind of funny how that works out.
I've never met Kevin in person, but, man, those posts, those clips that Shaggy's been posting of him.
Hilarious.
I commented on, I was like, dude, in another life, you guys are WWE superstars. They're just big dudes with big mouths. Yeah.
Tony used to hate me. He used to hate me when I was my early stage on my YouTube. Yeah, that's not hard to do. But yeah, Tony, who's like 6'7", he looks like Goldberg.
Yeah.
He's this monster. He'd kill you in one punch. He's that guy. Biggest, like softest heart in the world, man. All the Williams brothers, they remind me of us, but just on steroids.
Dude,
with stilts. We're on stilts.
They're Viking jeans.
Yes, literally.
Whatever's going on over there.
Julia Gooley said Kelce has one more year left on his contract, and as much as I would love to see him stay for a couple more, he's going to marry his love and enjoy his life. He's given us so much. I cannot be selfish. I 100% agree with that outlook. I would love to see Travis Kelce continue to play beyond his contract, and maybe that does happen because we don't know what the future holds. I know it's a cliche, but it is the truth. Yeah. He continues to stay healthy. He continues to want to keep playing football. I know the Chiefs would honor that. They would give him an extension, and he doesn't make a lot of money. It isn't like, you're going to have to choose between Travis Kelce and Xavier Worthy.
He's going to make a good amount next year.
You don't have
he's owed like $12 million next year.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good payday for him. He's coming back, guys.
Yeah, I truly believe that we're getting at least one more season because I also think there'd be more of a and Travis ain't going to make it about himself, but I do think the NFL would want to honor him in some way where they know this is his final season. So when he goes to certain stadiums, he goes to certain places, there's a little bit more of not a memorial, that sounds morbid, but more of a honorary, like, hey, this is your final time playing at the stadium. Thank you for all, for coming here and kicking our ass all these years. The Raiders would make jokes about it, the Chargers, like division rivals, teams that he's faced throughout the years. I think there'd be more, and you'd see like Chris Berman doing more interviews. Fox on Sundays would do more interviews with Travis Kelce. Like, hey man, 36, like this is your final ride. Like, can you guys do the 4-peat kind of thing? You know what I mean?
I'm being honest, I know he wouldn't want to make it about himself, but it might be a smart move to let everybody know that this is his final year going into that year.
Right.
You know what kind of motivation that would give the rest of the team?
Right.
To go get it done for Trav?
Yeah, 4-peat for Trav?
Dude,
yeah.
I mean, the team, you'll see the most motivated team ever.
Right.
Because the guy is a pillar in the Chiefs kingdom lore.
And this is something you and I agreed on too that I wanted to bring up because I think you said it first, but Patrick Mahomes is by far the best player on this team.
Yeah.
And he is the leader of the team when it comes to the X's and O's and things like that. But Travis Kelce is the man.
This team goes as he goes.
Yes.
Andy Reid's words.
Yes.
This team goes as he goes.
Listen to 𝚂𝙿𝙸𝚂𝙾 𝚂𝙿𝙸𝚂𝙁, a beloved player on this team for years.
Xavier Worthy.
They all talk about, how Travis was the one that, would call.
Rasheed Rice.
And check up on you, call him good brother Clyde. Kept him out of his own head. And that is the true leadership of Travis Kelce, more than just the rah-rah stuff on the football field, which does work.
That's that Midwest charm, baby. That Midwest charm.
It's the person. Yeah. It's who he is off the field that makes him who he is. And so I definitely believe that. And let's be real. He's the longest tenured Chief outside of James Winchester, but he's also the second pick of the Andy Reid era. It was Eric Fisher and then Travis Kelce. So this is a guy that's been here the whole ride. Yeah. For the entire Andy Reid era. So he should be that guy.
I mean, we could talk about the Chiefs great. Derek Thomas being top of my list, guys like that. But that's Patrick Mahomes all time.
Patrick Mahomes in it for sure.
I don't think it's close as far as obviously postseason goes.
Right.
But I mean, I know Derek Thomas is always like just that. He was incredible.
Yes.
The short career he had, that was.
He had 9-10 years. But yeah.
Sure. I mean, but I'm saying it could have been much better and longer in our opinion. But yeah, I think Travis Kelce. I mean, he could put him up there with anybody outside of Patrick Mahomes, man.
Yeah, I know the what's called the Mount Rushmore conversation are always going to be there. I mean, I think when it's all said and done, if I was to put my Mount Rushmore together right now, Patrick Mahomes without question. Sure. If it's players, like if it's a coach, Andy Reid's got to be on there. But if it's just players,
Tony G's up there, Travis Kelce's
I would say Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Derek Thomas, and then I might shock you on this one. It's either between Chris Jones or Will Shields.
I mean, I'm putting Tony G up there, but yeah, I get it.
You know what I mean? Well, the reason why is because of the fact that Chris Jones, I think, is going to end his career with the Chiefs.
No, I don't
Will
hate Chris
Shields
Jones.
played, 14, 15 years with the Chiefs, was the greatest guard I've ever seen in my life.
Best of his era.
Will Shields was the greatest guard I've ever seen in my life. He's the only man to ever make Ray Lewis cry. Like, he made Ray Lewis cry in a game because he's beating that ass. Yeah. So I'm just saying, dude, like...
It's a shame you don't have a ring, man.
We can have that debate on the offseason because that's usually that kind of content. But those are that's like kind of my four. Chris Jones is going to be up there, man, just because I think he's going to... He's not going to break Derek Thomas' sack record, but when you think about the fact he might actually be up there...
I mean...
As a DT? Like... Nuts. You're up there with DT as a DT. Think about that. That's crazy, bro. Like, that's just nuts to think about.
It is nuts, man.
I do want to get to this, though, Trevor, because we can sit here and relish all day long, and I definitely wanted to kick the show off by doing that. Because, guys, it is so... Despite how these last 6 years have gone, it is so rare to be where we're at. And we really do need to appreciate that, because I remember being so jealous of Niners fans, of Cowboys fans, of Patriots fans, of Green Bay Packers fans, all the blue bloods, if you will, of history. The Steelers fans, obviously.
Even the Saints having Drew Brees all those years.
Yeah, the franchise, though, that have won all these Super Bowls, like, I was always so jealous of Pittsburgh and 49ers and the Cowboys and the Patriots and, some of these other blue bloods, because I wondered what that was like to be a fan that you could wear a jacket or a hat that has like X amount of times of Super Bowls. Like, we never had that.
Yeah, it's a success symbol.
Now, when your kids, Trevor, are growing up, they can wear jackets that have like 7 times Super Bowl champ Chiefs.
My kids don't know what it's like not to be deep in the playoffs and competing for Super Bowls.
Like, how exciting is that to be, where you and I can be in our 40s and 50s rocking gear with all these rings on it?
We lived it in our prime.
Yeah, like, how lucky are we, dude? Like, that's what I'm saying. Like,
it's a simulation, dude.
Everybody who's alive right now, even if it is, I'm good with it. Like,
fuck yeah, simulation's great.
Yes, like, and I even
I'll take some hair on my head, but outside of that, shit. I mean, this shit's awesome.
We've said this over at our other brother's house when we were watching the AFC Championship. I'm like, listen, I love what's happening. I hope it continues. But if I died right now, I'm good, dude. I've seen this team win 3 Super Bowls. Like, I'm good.
Like, kill me now. Yeah. Fucking kill me.
I am good. Like, dude, my life, like, I know that sounds like I'm such a loser. Shit. I don't care. Like, I don't have a lot of other stuff in my life that makes me happy. This is one of the few things in this world that makes me happy.
Yeah.
And I've seen this team win the Super Bowl 3 times, and I truly believe we're going to see him win a 4th.
Yeah.
There's no way to explain how great that is. So and this is coming from me, guys, the most skeptical, critical, sometimes unfair Chiefs fan you'll ever meet. I'm saying that we should make sure that we're enjoying this.
Well, yeah, our guy Ruben DeCruz pops in here and says, this is not normal, people.
No,
definitely
it's
not normal. Julia, George Kalafdis knows nothing but Super Bowls.
Trent McDuffie, Isaiah Pacheco, like that 2022.
Jalen Watson.
Yes, that 2022 class and beyond only knows how to play. They only know Super Bowls. That's insane to think about. Insane.
Justin Norton, we are the dynasty of dynasties. None of the others built sustained success. All dynasties are great, clearly, but it's not been sustained. Not to this degree, because there's no way in my mind I can fathom a 10-year break either, like the Patriots had. They had 2 different separate dynastic runs, but I don't see a decade going by without us winning another Super Bowl.
Well, and the Chiefs can't afford to do that in the Mahomes era, because I don't think Patrick's going to play as long as Brady.
Right, sure.
You know what I mean?
Sure.
I think if I was to guess right now, I think Patrick plays anywhere from like 17 to 19 seasons.
But if he wins 4 in a row.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah.
He doesn't need to.
They have to stack them while they can, because I don't
think 3 of them.
Brady, the reason why Brady played so long is because he played such a conservative style of football. He was never the athlete Patrick is.
Yeah.
Guys like Patrick, they're not going to, I think Patrick's going to play longer than guys like Lamar Jackson, because Lamar Jackson leans so heavily on his athleticism.
Yeah.
Whereas
Josh
Patrick
Allen
picks and chooses. Yeah.
Joe Burrow's a guy that can play for a long time, like Brady did.
Unless the injuries are catching up with him.
He plays a lot like Brady. He's a little more mobile than Brady, but he plays a lot like
If his
Brady.
injuries catch up with him, though, that could shorten him. But I think Patrick's going to play anywhere from like 17 to 19 seasons. He may get to 20, maybe.
Listen, though, bro,
but 41 years old.
He's never sustained any massive injuries. Tom Brady did. Tom Brady missed an entire season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and he still played long. I mean, I am not going to second guess the ability for Pat to adapt, though.
Yeah.
He's a guy that can adapt, but seeing him become like just a true pocket passer and taking that kind of, because we've seen it. I mean, but the best example that we can compare him to the comp, I guess, is Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
the dude's 40 plus out here playing.
That's what I'm saying. Like if Patrick gets to like 19 seasons, that's 40 years old.
Yeah.
So I could see him get. And
I think he's going to play till he's 40.
Julia Gooley just pointed out here, and she literally stole the word. I was literally about to say it. Patrick is on record saying he wants his son to grow up in the locker room, just like his father did with him.
It's a legacy thing.
Yes.
I get it.
And what Bronze is what? 2, 3, not even 3 yet?
Yeah.
So that means that he's got at least another 12, 13 seasons to play before his son is old enough. I wouldn't say that. Like probably the next 2 to 3 years, his son's going to start remembering stuff. Because that's where Patrick was. He was around 5, 6 years old when he started remembering him with A-Rod and Ken Griffey and Derek Jeter and guys like that. That's when it's going to start really hitting. But if you want your son to grow up in the locker room, Patrick's going to have to play for at least another 12, 13 seasons. So I think that's probably where he's at. The point I'm trying to make, though, is that realistically, you're not going to play until you're 45, 46 years old.
Right.
It's just not. That's not what the sport's built for. What Brady did was unreal. But that doesn't mean that Patrick can't stack as many championships, if not more, in a shorter period of time because he's simply greater.
He's already on pace.
Yeah, he's simply better than Tom Brady.
Yeah, I don't see him going 4 or 5 years without an appearance.
Right. I don't
see it happening.
I know that people have their opinions still and say that Tom's still the GOAT. And to that credit, he technically is.
Sure.
Because greatness,
most accomplished for
the
sure.
achievements, all the accomplishments, he is more accomplished. But he's also played like 16 more seasons.
And especially as well as he played into his latter years.
Yes.
His numbers were great in his last years.
No doubt.
He's
no
in
doubt.
his 40s out there throwing for 4,000 and 35
To that
touchdowns.
point, though, in 2019, he looked done
Yeah.
when he had no weapons.
Then he
remember?
went to
and then he went to
Tampa,
Mike Evans, Chris
loaded.
Godwin. Yeah, and all of a sudden he's murdering everybody.
No doubt. Yeah. Shit, playoff Lenny, bro. Leonard Fournette was a stud, man.
So hopefully the
let's
Chiefs
not forget.
give Patrick Mahomes a lot of weapons as he gets older, so that way he doesn't have to go out there and be Magic Mahomes at 37, 38 years old.
I like this comment from in the chat from Demetrio Spence. That whole 2022 draft class should be recognized in the Hall of Fame if they pull this three-peat off. Bro,
That's not a bad take.
it's going to be the greatest story in argument in sports because it's the difficulty of this game and what this will mean to the legacy of Patrick Mahomes and this team and this coaching staff, everybody involved. That's not a crazy stat. That's something that's going to be talked about forever. That 2022 draft class. I mean, there was just a chef's kiss. I mean, masterclass of just draft picks and guys that have just known nothing but success as they hit the ground running. So yeah, I love that comment. It's
Well, I mean, real quick, let's look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, the 2022 team had these are just the guys that are starting today for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Trent McDuffie, George Karlaftis, Brian Cook, Leo Chenal, Joshua Williams, Jalen Watson, Isaiah Pacheco, who's kind of in and out right now, and Najee Johnson still plays for the team.
yeah,
That's 7 players.
nuts, dude. That's so nuts.
I mean, the only player that was an absolute miss was Darian Kennard.
Right. I mean, he was
Sky
kind of he
Moore
was kind of
was a miss, but
dart, a shot in the dark with him.
But think about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah.
6, technically 8 players of their 12 picks were hits. Insane to think about. And that's why I keep saying, Trevor, I want to see the Chiefs get 10 plus picks again in a draft because I want to see Beach cook like this again. Because I think if he gets more picks to throw at the dartboard, you're going to start to see the Chiefs reestablish that youthful talent again because he hasn't had to pay a lot of these guys.
I have no reason to doubt what they can do with a plethora of picks.
Yeah, man.
I mean, this is what Veach does, man.
And that's true. Think about it. They win 3 straight to start their careers off. That's 3 rings in 3 years.
Dude.
They have a chance to win 4. There are guys, Trevor, on this team right now that can leave the Chiefs after their 4th year because they're not first-round picks. They can leave the Chiefs and go get paid after winning 4 straight Super Bowls. Think about that. Like, let's say they don't pay Leo Chenal, right, by chance.
Yeah.
Let's say they don't pay Jalen Watson, right, and they go and play for other teams after next season. They're going to another team about to make money after winning 4 consecutive chips. Like, think about that kind of career. The stories you could tell.
Unprecedented, man.
Yeah. Like, hey, I just won 4 consecutive titles.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to go get paid. Like, that's the best. I mean, obviously, continually winning championships is the way to go. But if you know.
Guys like Trent McDuffie could retire in a few years probably and be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, you're walking to a team going like this.
Yeah.
You're going to have so much respect to that locker room, and that team's going to pay you at least a few percentages better
Without
just because of the Super Bowl tax.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
They pay guys for far less, having far less success.
we're seeing
these
guys like Nick Allegretti, who was a backup guard here in Kansas City, who's a 2-time Super Bowl champion,
captains for the Commanders.
leading the way in the rah-rah group, before the games, in the middle of the circle. Like, that's the kind of respect you garner when you're a Super Bowl champion in this league. And if you're leaving the Chiefs as a 3 or 4-time champion, and you're 26, you can go into your next team.
Especially guys like Trent, dude. Like 2-time All-Pro already, several rings, almost
Nuts.
a fistful of rings. It's just, I mean.
And for the record, I do think Chiefs are going to pay Leo Chenal.
Yeah, me too.
I think they keep him. He's a damn good
No,
player.
yeah, he won't.
He's one of the
cost
highest
you as
rated
much.
linebackers in the league, dude. He's a very good player.
And he does so much. He's a Swiss Army man, bro. He has 2 field goal blocks this year.
It's stupid. It's stupid.
I don't think there's anybody else in the league that has 2.
Like, he's as
One
deadly
player.
in special teams as he is on defense. Like,
He is just a freak. You can like Dave Topes talked about him. We can put him kind of anywhere, and we know he's going to do the job.
Julia Gilly said, Tyreek is sick.
Yeah. So good.
That's great. Thank you for that, Julia. I appreciate it.
Come back, Tyreek.
Yeah, dude. All right. Well, I want to get to these. I want to get these. I want to recap the conference title games if we can, guys. I want to start with the Commanders and Eagles game.
Shit.
How do I say this? I was wrong.
Maybe I was wrong.
Yeah, maybe I was wrong. Go watch Guess Who, guys. It's a great movie.
Yeah, R.I.P. Bernie.
R.I.P. Bernie. Yep. it's so funny how these playoffs worked out. I doubted Jaden Daniels and the Commanders in the first 2 rounds. They proved me wrong. And then I said, you know what? Enough's enough. I'm giving the Commanders their flowers. I think they're going to get to the Super Bowl because they just keep proving me wrong, and they just have that feel.
And the narrative was cool too. A rookie doing the first, and then the Chiefs going for a first too.
The storyline was really starting
that'd
to
have
put
been a
together.
cool narrative, man.
See, when you guys think it's scripted, think about that. Right. Yeah, I really thought the Commanders were going to take care of business, but what they did is they did everything but that. They for the first time, the Commanders looked overwhelmed.
Yeah.
I don't want to say the stage was too big for them, but it felt like the Eagles were just simply more prepared. It just felt like the Eagles It just felt like the Eagles were big brother.
Well, Saquon was just doing what he did to again last time.
Right.
He tore them up all year this year when they faced off. He just multiple 40-plus yard runs. Dude, you can't do that and expect to beat the Eagles.
Right.
Because when they can lean on Saquon, you're not going to win. I don't care who you are. I think if Saquon's doing his thing, you're not going to beat the Eagles. I don't care who you are, even if you're the Chiefs. You can't let Saquon run wild like that and expect to win.
Well, we're not going to get into a lot of Super Bowl predictions today, but Trevor and I will definitely have this conversation. I think it's interesting enough. I think there's a chance that the Chiefs will have an issue with Saquon Barkley. It may not matter. We'll talk about that. But this game went in a complete opposite direction. From the very get-go, the Eagles took it to the Commanders. It really wasn't much of a game. I mean, I know that there was a chance late in the third quarter where the Commanders still had a shot, but it never really felt like they did. Because once they started making headway, once they started, they fumbled the ball.
They got some momentum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the first kickoff they fumbled the ball and turned it over?
Yeah. And then Austin Eckler had that fumble, and then they had the kickoff
Zach Ertz,
fumble.
I think, had a fumble.
Zach Ertz balled, but
he did.
He had a bad. Yeah, it was a bad timing. It's 4 turnovers. You can't. Saquon doing his thing, and then 4 turnovers on top, bro.
Especially on the road against a divisional foe in the NFC Championship.
Jalen Hurts had 3 rushing touchdowns. Saquon had 3 rushing touchdowns. 6 touchdowns between those 2 guys. You're just not beating them, bro.
It just went really bad for the Commanders. I will say that this team is just getting started. I think Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury, and I told you, Trevor, the smartest thing for Cliff to do is do what? Stay his ass put. And that's what he did. He passed on all
the Saints. Bread and butter, bro.
The Saints wanted him to be their OC. He said, I'm staying put.
Yeah.
Smartest thing he does, because if you attach yourself to Jaden Daniels, you are going to continuously get credit.
Yeah.
Because let me look across the league, dude. Whenever you're an OC with a head coach or a great quarterback, I guess unless you're Eric Bieniemy, you get nothing but that aura about you. And Cliff Kingsbury's already been well known, but it failed pretty badly in Arizona. And I think if he wants to ever get that chance to be a head coach again, which I think is the next job he'll ever take, you got to get yourself attached to a young talent like Jaden Daniels for 2 to 3 years, and then when that opportunity presents itself, you go and become a head coach again. And I think at that time, Cliff's going to be more prepared for the job.
Yeah.
But no, I will give credit to the Commanders for getting to where they were. No one, and I mean nobody, expected the Commanders against the NFC Championship. So hats off to them. But the Eagles were just simply the better team.
What a learning experience for those guys.
Yes, and Jalen Carter and that front 7 of the Eagles was just absolutely nasty. They were almost appalling at some points because they were just so good. And I got to tip my cap to the Eagles for getting back to the Super Bowl for the second time in 3 years. That game was pretty much, there wasn't a lot to really break down, Trevor. Yeah. It was an absolute beatdown.
And to Ruben's point, though, Payne being out was a pretty big loss for the Washington.
Huge.
On that defensive
Cosme? Was it Cosme out too?
I don't know. But
their guard?
I know Payne being out was huge.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure their guard Cosme was out too. So the point is, guys, the Commanders, at the end of the day, I don't want to say I was right, but in a weird way, we kind of were, when we said they're a year away. And that sounds weird to say for a team that's the NFC Championship, but I don't think we've seen anywhere close to the best of what the Commanders can be. I think this is this is a team that can win the Super Bowl.
I agree.
So
especially the NFC. I mean, you can definitely. I can see some NFC championships.
Definitely that
for them.
Definitely
sure.
that. I think for the next 4 to 5 years, the Commanders are going to be a team to be.
The NFC is in good hands.
Yeah,
they got some young, good developing quarterbacks over there. They got Penix, you got Penix, Caleb Williams, and then Jaden Daniels, bro.
Yeah.
They got some young studs, I think, coming up over there, and that don't sleep on that Atlanta team moving forward. I think Michael Penix with those weapons, Drake London, Bijan. That's a team, man. I think they're going to learn some stuff and get better next year. I think they're a team to look out for, especially next year. That's
John Harrison did confirm that Cosme was out.
Okay.
Yeah, I figured he was, and that's a big loss too. He's a good right guard. So let's get right into the game. I know you guys really want to talk about the Chiefs-Bills. Trevor and I were very confident the Chiefs were going to win this game. A lot of you were very confident the Chiefs were going to win this game. And the thing I said, Trevor, coming into this match and why I felt so confident about the Chiefs winning this game was moments in situational football. We knew Because if you look at the stats, the Bills were the better team this year. I know the Chiefs had the better record, but statistically, the Bills were the better team.
Especially forcing turnovers and all that shit and having time of possession, running the ball really well, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you just looked at raw numbers, you're thinking, oh, the Bills coming here, they can take care of business. They've beaten the Chiefs 4 times in four seasons of the regular season.
Yeah.
This is, everybody, Trevor famously kept saying it, Josh Allen's due.
Yeah, that's the narrative.
He's due.
Yeah.
So therefore they're going to win, right?
He's got to win.
I mean, yes, he's due. Yeah, I mean, so
he's too good not to win.
I'm due for $1 million. Like you said, I'm due for $1 million. So I think, I should probably get that $1 million right because I'm due.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the point is that this game came down to exactly what we expected. We thought they were going to win by 10, but that's Trevor.
We should have.
They're up 21-10. And I'll let you cook on that in a second because there was an opportunity for the Chiefs to beat the shit out of this team.
Yes.
The point is, though, as usual between these two teams, it comes down to possession or two, and we saw in these moments. And I'm not going to do today, Trevor. I don't want to talk about it because I'm tired of it. I'm not going to talk about the refs because the refs had nothing to do with the outcome of this game, and I don't give a fuck what anybody says.
Definitely not.
Josh Allen failed multiple times at converting on second 2-point conversions. Sean McDermott had maybe the stupidest challenge I've ever seen in my life. Sean McDermott, who, by the way, came out, and I will say this, I'm lying, I'm saying I'm not going to talk about the refs, but Sean McDermott just came out yesterday and said, I told my team, just be prepared. We're not getting the calls, guys. We're not going to get those calls, guys. Al-Qaeda. And, he's going to, he said what he said. And I find that funny, though, Trevor, because like Nick Wright said yesterday on his show, First Things First, why the fuck did you make that challenge?
Yeah.
Because if you knew you weren't getting the call, you expected when it was only going to be a net of 15 yards and the Chiefs were getting a first down anyway. They had a penalty on the play. The Chiefs were getting a fresh set of downs. That challenge after a play was already run, and because of that challenge and it not being upheld, the Chiefs got fresh set of downs anyway. Thank you, McDermott. That was the stupidest challenge of all time.
What even just McDermott? It was their GM as well, bro.
And now they're saying they're not going to be his spenders in the offseason, which I think is hilarious because they're not even they're going to have money this year for once, and I really believe him. He's not going to spend a lot of money.
This is just a cope. It's all cope.
Yes,
it's just coping, man. That's the coping mechanisms.
And they took. Remember, they made that field goal, and got the penalty, and decided to go for the 2. They accepted the penalty, took points off the board, and they lose by 3. They missed 2 2-point conversions, which would have won them the game.
I'm just saying, bro. Like, I know. They.
But let's talk about the Chiefs, Trevor. Because you know what the Chiefs did? Outside of one botched snap, this team played their game. The Chiefs played their game.
An uncharacteristic turnover almost cost us.
5 fumbles in this game, and the Bills recovered all 5. Unreal.
Should have been 2 picks on the first drive.
I mean,
we had two of our guys just drop the picks.
Yes,
and Josh was horrible on that first.
And let me say this, dude.
Horrible.
Let me say this. I have to be honest here. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I wasn't mad. Trevor can attest. He was right across the room from me. I was pissed as shit at Spags in this game. I thought that Spags was getting his ass beat by Joe Brady in this game.
Chestnut checkers, baby.
What he was doing was genius, and I'm so sick of falling for it.
Baiting him.
I'm so sick of falling for it. But I fall for it all the time, dude. Spags will show you a little something, just a little peek. Was that a Key and Peele? Little show. Remember the devil?
Yeah.
Give a little show. That's what Spags was doing. He's giving him a little show.
Yeah.
Making him think that they're going to be able to just run the ball all over him, and there's nothing they can do about it. And then all of a sudden he said, Josh Allen's not running the ball today. Oh, by the way, we're taking James Cook out of the game in the 4th quarter.
Yep.
And that's exactly
they didn't even give him the ball.
What happened.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the reason why. Because James Cook couldn't do anything in the 4th quarter. So they said, final drive, we're not even going to try. We're going to go to Mac Hollins.
Yeah.
We're going to go to Shakir. We're going to go to other guys. We're going to try to throw a arm punt to Dalton Kincaid and then blame him for a week. There's all these things that Spags decided to use against the Bills that they were building throughout the game. And I love Trevor more than anything. The Greg Rousseau, the edge rusher for the Bills, was on record as saying the Chiefs were running plays we didn't see all season. This is exactly what we talked about. Yeah. Why I'm wearing this fucking robe right now. This team all season long was holding back plays. How do I know that for sure, Trevor? Not just because what Greg Russo just said, what Greg, don't call me Rene Russo, said. It's what we saw them do with Patrick Mahomes. This whole season, Trevor, Patrick Mahomes started every game except the final week of the season. 4 designed run plays for Patrick Mahomes. 2 of them were in this game alone.
What was I telling you? The Chiefs were beating them at their own game.
Dude.
They were beating the Bills at their own game.
Jeff Schwartz.
What a flex, bro.
Brian Baldinger and all these other guys that I love watching break down film.
Yeah, Baldy's breakdowns are great.
We're showing the whole game. They had the design run with Kareem Hunt when they had the two tight ends on the sides.
They played that formation a lot.
Played that formation almost the whole game.
Yeah.
They had the design run where Kareem Hunt would get that. Kareem did score a touchdown on one of them, right?
Yep.
And there were sometimes they only get like a yard, but they kept running that play. Yep. And even you and I were like, bro, they keep running this fucking play.
Yeah.
And then they set it up for that touchdown when Patrick Mahomes did the fake, and Milano got vacuumed in. Travis was supposed to block Milano on that play, but ended up having a free release because Milano was gone.
Yeah.
So Travis was like, "Who do I block now?" So like Patrick's just running free, runs into Damar Hamlin in the end zone. It's already a touchdown.
The terrible spike.
The Chiefs baited the Bills on both sides of the ball in this one.
It was a masterclass, man.
And I will not, Trevor, and I'm gonna let you go after this. I will not finish my stance on this game until I give, or you know what? I'm going to take a little fucking credit for this one because I've been telling you guys for 2 years about this dude, and he finally got his chance to show what he is in the postseason. That is my boy Nico Remigio. He finally's got his
all preseason. Me and you were touting him.
Yes.
Hoping he'd make the roster.
And I don't know if you saw him with Kay Adams this week on her show, App and Adams.
Mm-hmm.
But he did the fair catch on his first punt, right? Mm-hmm. Travis Kelce checked his ass and said, "That ain't it, bro. Yeah. That ain't special." Whatever he said.
Here we go. Travis Kelce being the vocal leader of the team, dude.
Called his shit out. He goes, "Don't fair catch that shit. You take that shit." The next opportunity he got, he took one back for 41 yards. Changed fields.
Back-to-back playoff games. He's had very pivotal games.
Dude.
Very pivotal plays.
What do we always talk about what Mecole Hardman did in the 2019 run when they were down 24-0 to the Texans?
As much as you hate him, even Kadarius Toney too.
Yes, that's fair. It's fair.
Yeah.
It's fair. Dude, these guys make difference-making plays. Yes, when you're putting your offense on the other side of the field in before their first play, you are setting your team up for success. And almost every single time Patrick gets that opportunity, he never ceases to take full advantage of it.
7 for 7 when it comes to game-winning or game-tying situations.
Nico Remigio just basically took the mantle from Mecole and said, "I got this, bro. I know you're hurt right now. I got this," and he's making the most of it.
More so.
Yes,
he's got more juice than Mecole. I mean, I love Mecole, but he's got more juice, especially at this point in their careers.
I want to kind of pat our show on the back here a little bit, dude.
Yeah.
We've been saying this dude needs to be on this roster. He needs to get his shot. He finally got his shot, and he's showing you guys the stage is not too bright, not too big for Mr. Nico Remigio. Number 81 is here, and I think he's here to stay. I think he's earned himself a spot for next season as well, dude. He's got what it takes to be an NFL player.
Oh, for sure.
And I love seeing him finally get his shot. These are the stories that make this so great.
I love to see him get some catches too, man.
Yes.
Yeah, get the ball in his hands. He reminds me a lot of Albert Wilson, but even better in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree, dude. Go look at his old college tapes, dude. And this kid has what it takes, and I know our guy James T. Kirk's gonna agree because he saw him at Fresno State out there in Cali. This kid's got what it freaking takes.
Well, this is big moments. A lot of guys shrink in these kind of moments, man. He's granted. I will say he almost fumbled that big moment against the Texans. Yeah, he did fumble. That would have been
that shit happens.
That would have changed our tune a little bit, but still, I mean, the guy just has that juice about him. And I want to highlight this comment real quick from Julia Gulia. To think Josh Allen ran in a TD during the regular season, so Patrick ran it in during the playoffs. Of course, yeah. Josh Allen put that game on ice in the regular season with that 23-yard fourth down scramble touchdown to put the game away. So you don't think we remember that? You don't think we would? Yeah, I mean, the fact that Pat had 2 rushing touchdowns. He's never done that in a playoff game. I don't think he's ever had 2.
No, that's first game ever. That's first game ever.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, okay, yeah.
First game ever.
That even puts more emphasis on that. That was a statement.
Yes.
100%. Beating them at their own game. What an absolute flex, man. And as far as the Chiefs go and Andy Reid showing things they hadn't seen all year, Spags showing things defensively, formationally that other teams haven't seen all year from the other side. This is preparation, man. This is why I don't believe in luck with this team a lot of times. This is preparation, right? This is discipline, and this is why we win so many single score games and close games because we're extremely disciplined. This is why we end up on the right side of the penalties most of the time, because we're more disciplined, right? We've seen a lot of teams that are fun and flashy, but they tend to shoot themselves in the foot. We've been that team before.
Yep.
Even the early Patrick Mahomes days, we used to shoot ourselves in the foot all the time, but we were fun to watch.
Yep.
You know, I mean, that game against LA, it was 100-plus points in the game, but we ended up losing because they shot ourselves in the foot. We still should have won that game, in my opinion, but our defense can't stop anything. We had so many penalties, but we were fun to watch. So there's a lot of teams like that, but there's like I'm saying, there's a formula we have right now. Patrick's doing what he needs to do, but when he needs to take that next step and be that GOAT, you know, and throw on that crown real quick, we all know Pat can do it.
Right.
2 rushing touchdowns was just wild to see from Pat, bro.
This is why I've always told you, and I know it sounded wild when I first said it, but I said, this is why, in my opinion, Patrick Mahomes is the most deadly running quarterback in the league. Lamar's clearly better.
It sounds
Lamar's
weird
the best
saying
ever.
that out loud, but yes.
Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Jaden Daniels. There are several. Even backups like Justin Fields. These guys are way better running quarterbacks than Patrick Mahomes.
Athletes for sure, yeah.
Without question. But who's the deadliest? Who's the one that breaks more backs? Who's the one that kills momentum more than anybody else with their legs? It is without question Patrick Mahomes. He has made more plays than any of those other quarterbacks combined in their careers in the pivotal moments with his legs. He's made more of them.
Because it's always the right choice.
It's always the right choice, the right time.
Yeah.
How many times in the postseason? He's played, 20 postseason games? How many times, Trevor, those 20 postseason games, we see Patrick Mahomes just break the back of the defense on a 3rd and long, 4th down.
How many times have we watched Pat run a play, even if it's like not a designed run or even like an escape run and he gets a 1st down? How many times have we ever like, why did Pat run there?
That never happened. That never happened.
Yeah. We've seen him take a
happened.
sack or fuck.
Yeah.
We've seen him lose the ball on a snap. Fuck. Or like, botch a handoff. Fuck. But Pat runs.
Fuck yeah.
Shut the fuck up and walks his greatness. It's never happened. We're like, God damn, we shouldn't have ran there. It's never happened before, bro.
Exactly.
That's to your point. Him being the deadliest.
He's the
greatest
deadliest.
Yeah, I mean, and it's very similar to Aaron Rodgers too.
Right.
When it's earlier days when he hard enough stopping that guy throwing the ball downfield and finding the open guy somehow, putting the money on the ball or the ball on the money. And then you got to worry about him scrambling for a 4th and 6 or something like that and getting the 1st down because he had wheels back in the day too. So it is very similar to prime Rodgers.
In baseball terms, how about this? I know this might be boring to some of you guys, but you guys know these names. I look at it like Big Papi or Derek Jeter.
Yeah.
We all know there are several guys throughout history that Trevor that are better home run hitters than David Ortiz, Big Papi, right? He is a Hall of Famer. He had 500 home runs.
Yeah.
But there are other guys that Barry Bonds and the list goes on. Of better home run hitters. Derek Jeter, not the best hitter ever. A good oppo guy, great. Had above 300 batting average, things like that.
Definition of consistency, though.
But when it mattered, those 2 motherfuckers were the most clutch dudes. They were the ones that always came up. Derek Jeter with that little oppo hit that would get him a double. David Ortiz flipping the bat or knocking one over right field. That is what made them the deadliest. Yeah, if you had to take a poll and say, hey, game on the line, there's a guy on second, you're down 1 run.
Yeah.
Who do you want at the plate? You're saying Derek Jeter or David Ortiz because they would always come up clutch.
Always, man.
And that's what Patrick Mahomes is. Oh, it's 3rd and 7, and there's 18 seconds left. Yeah, and you got to get in field goal range.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, without question. Oh, it's 4th and 2.
Cold Stone, gotta have
4th
it,
and 2, you're down 3.
Yeah.
Or you're down 2 points. 4th and 2. Patrick Mahomes. I'm not having Josh Allen. Yeah. I'm not having Lamar Jackson. I'm not having any other quarterback. And Jaden Daniels is climbing that list, I will say. But there is nobody else I have running that football. What I'm saying is the play is you have to run the ball. You can't throw it. There is nobody else. There is nobody else I'm taking at that moment than Patrick freaking Mahomes.
It does help that he's such a great thrower of the ball, too. I mean, he's not a one-dimensional guy, so that's what makes it that much more deceiving on what he's actually going to do. They're not going to have a spy on Pat because he doesn't run enough to deserve a spy.
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? So that's just the greatness of guys that know the situation and taking advantage of the situation.
And what's awesome about that, just to not cut you off, but what's awesome about that also is, in just the game previous, let's say like teams start saying, you know what, fuck this, dude. We're going to start spying Patrick Mahomes on these big plays.
Please do.
The snake played to Samaje Perine.
Oh my! Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? Like,
so if you have a guy sitting in the middle of the field spying Patrick, he's going to pick you apart. That's one less guy in the backfield.
The little snake route,
bro,
on the outside left. Yeah. Samaje just squirms out there, and Patrick just dumps it off to me.
I mean, that play alone was just.
And that was another play they set up the whole game. So
Samaje didn't do shit the entire game. That one play.
we get so frustrated with Patrick Mahomes, Andy Reid, Spags throughout the season because of things we think don't make sense.
Yeah.
And then we see them pull the veil from underneath or pull the carpet from underneath us. We're like,
bitch.
oh, motherfucker, this is what you guys been doing all. This is why, like you said, chess playing while they're playing checkers.
Chess to checkers,
This is
yeah.
why I hated when Nick Wright used to say, "Oh, they're practicing." I hated that. But at the
He's
end
been
of
right the
day,
whole time, dude.
fuck, dude, it was a yeah, exactly, dude. It was a
Yeah.
classic too, as he would say, where it's I'm eventually gonna be right. You know what I mean? And that's what happened, man.
And I always hark back to the Super Bowl 2 years ago against the Eagles when we did the corn dog play out of nowhere. And we didn't see that play once all season long, and we scored on it twice.
Yeah, and one of them
in
was
the
a
Super Bowl.
botch play, exactly.
Yeah. Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore scored on this fucking play.
Unbelievable.
Twice. So if that doesn't show you that that they had these plays drawn up for guys that, like I said, Samaje Perine to ice the game. You would think it'd be Kelce or Xavier Worthy, the guys that were getting the ball the most throughout the postseason. Nope, Samaje Perine, slide downside.
And to that point, what you just said right there,
Yeah,
Travis Kelce didn't do anything in this game.
absolutely nothing.
Two
He didn't do
catches-
anything against him the first time. In
Two
the
catches
early
for
season.
19 yards,
Didn't have to.
and it didn't matter.
Yep.
Because why?
D-Hop didn't do anything either.
Is worthy, dude.
Yeah.
And this is coming from me. The guy that we had Ryan Tracy on the show 6 months ago. And I'm like, Ryan, I'm legit worried. I don't know if this guy has the physical ability
I remember.
to withstand the rigors of the NFL. I don't know. I feel I'm legit concerned about this kid. He's 165, 170 pounds. He's a speedster, but does he got what it takes? And I felt that I had the right to question that.
Two of the toughest catches he's made in his career are in the postseason.
Dude.
He's for real, man.
I know this sounds crazy to say coming from me. But if I could go back in time and do that draft again, I wouldn't want the Chiefs to change it.
Yeah. I mean, Lyle McConkey is tempting. I get it, because I think he'd be awesome in this offense too, but I think the
upside of Xavier Worthy's higher.
Is there, bro. Yeah.
I think Ladd's always going to be a very consistent player.
Yes.
Like he's going to have like 12, 13-year career.
Yeah.
Maybe Xavier doesn't. But Xavier's upside matches with Patrick Mahomes perfectly. Like the style of player is exactly what Patrick wants.
It's shown itself in the postseason, bro.
Yes.
He's come up huge for us twice.
And we
Two
have
of his
yet-
best catches of the year.
And we have yet to see developed
postseason.
Xavier Worthy with Rashee Rice.
My God. I mean, and Hollywood Brown if he comes.
You know what I mean? Like, dude, 6 to midnight, like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, the table just lifted. Like it's that bad right now. Like I'm thinking of those two guys together with a sprinkle of maybe another veteran or two. Dude, it's going to be a deadly scene. They're going to have like murder tape, the caution tape around Arrowhead after every game because it's just going to be like, there was a death here.
Call the corner.
They killed this defense.
Yeah.
Please do not come in here. Stay back. There's a lot of bodies. That's what you're going to see. So, I won't, Dustin. Don't worry. I'm not going to stand up. You don't want to see that. It's bad. That is why I'm where. That's where I'm at with Xavier Worthy, dude. Like seeing him again rise to the occasion, do what he did in the biggest game of his career to this point. I'm excited as fuck, and I don't want to dive into the Super Bowl yet. We're going to keep mums.
It's hard
right
not
now.
to, though. Yeah.
But goddamn, I'm excited to see Xavier Worthy in this game because, dude, this is a motherfucking dome, dude.
Yeah, dude.
And we know what Pat is.
Undefeated.
14-0.
Undefeated in the dome.
Undefeated.
Yeah. Undefeated.
And now he's going to have the fastest dude in the
Undefeated against Big
league.
Fangio also.
Boy, 8-0.
Okay. No more Super Bowl.
Yeah, we're, again, simmer down, boy. Like, see Xavier Worthy in this matchup, Hollywood Brown in this matchup, D-Hop knowing this is the game of his life.
Yeah.
He's waited 13 years for this chance. Dude, I don't know how... I'm just gonna say I don't know how you stop these dudes. Yeah. Maybe I'm way ahead of my skis here, but seeing what this team did against the Bills, their first 30-plus point game of the C championship.
Yeah. Oh, I
There's
told you
no
it was going to
coincidence,
happen. I told you
dude.
it was going to happen. It was going to be our best offensive output. We were going to score the most points. We were going to score 30-plus.
Yes.
And that's exactly what happened. We should have scored, honestly, more than that, in my opinion. We should have won by 10, goddammit. We had several opportunities to take advantage and really put these boys away earlier. The 3 minutes and 33 seconds shouldn't have really even been a thing because Josh Allen was pressing.
Did you see the Chiefs what they did with their YouTube channel?
Dude, 30 minutes and 33 seconds, all the interviews, that's elite
It was
trolling.
like cut them off right at 3-3 to
Whoever's
3.
in charge of doing that, that's elite, dude. That is elite, bro. That's so good.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, shout out to my guy Cole from How About Those Chiefs. He's the one that kind of pointed it out. The Chiefs YouTube account, after the game, they had all their press conferences there. Like Chris Jones, Xavier Worthy, Patrick, Andy Reid, all the guys. They cut all those videos off at 3:33.
Yep.
Hilarious.
Right.
Now, when it obviously became news, like Bleacher Report, Gridiron, they posted it. After that, they went back and they edited it all, and they let all the full interviews there. But they made that statement. This franchise was paying attention as a whole to what's being said all year long, dude. From the fellow porcelain mouth, Rex Ryan, and all the other guys.
He's
Adam Shine.
He's humbled
the
himself.
Buffalo Bills. That was a disgrace.
Rex has since humbled himself, though. He has no choice.
But Adam Shine can still kiss my ass.
That guy, yeah.
That was a disgrace.
Him and Mad Dog Russo too, bro. You see that video or the talking point, I guess you say, the headline, quote unquote. What's more important, or what's more of the big story? Saquon's first Super Bowl or the three-peat? That was a real headline during the first take.
And look, all respect to Saquon, but what are we talking about?
That's a wild thing to say. What, the first thing to ever happen in NFL history since the merger, or a really good running back has had a really good career getting his first Super Bowl victory?
Right.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. That is a real bugaboo. I don't really know. I could tell you guys.
Yeah, but I like Mad Dog because he's entertaining, but like Jesus Christ, bro.
I'm so cheaped out.
Yeah. It's
Steven.
It's fun.
Steven, I can't do it anymore, Steve.
I like him though. He's like an OG. He's just like one of those guys that's like in so much betting debt.
I will say this about him real quick. I miss Mad Dog when he was the radio host.
Sure.
Because when it was him,
he's goated in the radio.
Yes, when it was him and other Mike, Francesca,
guys like him, Jim Rome, man.
When him and Francesca played, they were the legends. They started it all.
Yeah,
they were the first show I ever listened to.
Sirius Radio.
Back when we were kids, dude, on the way to school, we'd listen to them.
Yeah,
and they were the ones that started it all. I miss that Russo, but now he's on TV. He's playing this character now, and it
12 pounds
sucks.
of makeup on.
Yeah, it sucks, man. Like I will say, I respect his game though, because he talks about he's an edible guy.
Yeah,
I respect that.
I like it because he stands on his takes. He takes his L's.
I go to the golf course, I take an edible, and I just have fun.
I could deal with guys that can take their L's. Even like Rex Ryan, he talks shit, but he's holding his L. Yeah, he's humbled himself. Like guys like McIntyre and Acho, all these clowns, dude. These guys like they're just so circular.
I am Emmanuel Acho, and I'm here to explain to you why I'm over accentuating every word I use, and I'm going to use my hands like this, like I'm Italian. Yeah. He's so fucking annoying.
It's one of my favorites. But yeah, dude, they're just guys. I can't respect those kind of guys. They're just straight up clowns and just But the OGs, man, they know how to take an L. So, yeah.
And I hope John Bayless is doing all right with his Zero platform.
Oof.
I call him John because he hates being called John because it's his dad's name and his name is John. So
nice.
Hope you're doing well, John. That's look, we just spent 30 minutes going over this game and we didn't mention the refs once. That's the first time you're going to watch a show or hear a show where that's actually the case, because we talk about football and the real things, not conspiracies or anything out there that, the globalists are doing. No, we're talking about the real of what is deciding these games, and it is the Chiefs. And I know that it's making so many people mad out there. There's a lot of gatekeepers out there that are mad. They mad.
Yeah.
And we happy because this team continues to win. And I hate to use this line, but when it comes to comparing it to the Patriots' two dynasties, the Chiefs are winning the right way. It'd be one thing, sure, if we had heard that, Andy Reid got caught taping the 49ers practice. It'd be one thing if we heard that Patrick Mahomes broke his phone.
That would change everything.
It would change everything. Mm-hmm. And we would be ashamed. I wouldn't be able to defend it. We've heard none of that. Not one single thing. And that is why it's making so many people mad, is because these guys are doing it and they continue to do it, and there's nothing that you can really hold against them. Because if you want to bring up the refs, show me a single account, show me a single situation where a call determined the outcome of a game with the Chiefs and another team. Show me the single play. It isn't there. If you want to bring up the Bengals game from earlier this season, let's do that. Because as I recall, Trevor, it was 4th and 16 when Rashee Rice got that DPI. What was the reason why it was 4th and 16, Trevor? Because the previous play, there was a Jawan Taylor holding call on a first down conversion the Chiefs got on that 4th and 6.
Yeah.
So it was 4th and 16 because of a call against the Chiefs. So even if you want to use that play only happened because the Chiefs got a holding call. So nothing you do or say can even be utilized in that way to fit your narrative. I hope you guys are enjoying this, because I am. I'm truly enjoying the fact that the Chiefs continue to win games and piss off the entire world. That we got all the peoples out here now coming up with conspiracy theories. And we're living in a time where conspiracy theories now are as openly talked about as ever before. They used to be very taboo-ish. Nobody really talked about them. People kind of just left that, in the ethernet, if you will. Now it's very open, and it's the national platform. And I almost it's almost like a badge of honor, Trevor, that our team is the dynasty during that era, where it's like not to get political, but like Barack Obama being able to say he was the first president in the social media era, that's a badge of honor.
Sure.
You took that on.
The amount of criticism you get is just unfathomable to anybody before you.
Yes. Like he was the LeBron James.
Yeah.
You could make the case he was the first like superstar athlete in the social media era.
Yeah.
That's a badge of honor. The Chiefs. This is a badge of honor to be the first dynasty of the conspiracy era,
especially being spotless.
Yes,
I mean, we could talk about the fan created nonsense narratives. That's whatever. The ref shit. That's all fanfare shit. That's just fun chatter amongst the haters.
Yeah,
but truly, in reality, a spotless track record, and it's crazy, man. It is a 100% a badge of honor. You're correct there.
Let's get to the people, Trevor. What we got going on? It's time for Speak It. We want to hear from you guys. Whatever questions you guys have, get on YouTube real quick and go to our YouTube channel at the Spoken Podcast and enter your questions in the live stream comment thread. Trevor, what we got going on?
All right, so I've got 9 in here so far, but if you guys want to keep chiming in as I read the ones I have in here currently, feel free to either bounce off some of these other questions or bring in some random questions of your own. So off the top, always the first question, Dust Norton, every single week. My guy, appreciate you, buddy.
Yep.
Speak it. If Spags was to become a head coach, he's not. Which team does he help the most? My answer in worst case scenario for us, the Bills.
That's funny that Dustin says that because that was actually something Nick Wright did suggest on his show. He goes, the one way the Bills could really screw the Chiefs is if they were to fire McDermott and go and hire Spags.
For sure.
That would be look, 100%. And I think that Spags would do a decent job with Josh Allen as his quarterback because to his defense, when he was the Rams head coach, he did not have a quarterback close to Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to happen. I do agree that would be the one place, though. I think that if he was to go to any of the divisional teams, which isn't going to happen now because they all have solidified head coaches, the chances would be better. But we know, outside of maybe the Bengals, the one team that the Chiefs are going to face every year, and it's going to be the Bills, that would be the team that Spags would go to really. And I still think the Chiefs would overcome it. But, man, that'd be the hardest hurdle for them to overcome because Spags knows this team inside and out and literally constructed this defense into what it is. So he would have that in the bag.
Yeah, I mean, as far as like what team he would help the most, I mean, there's a lot of teams he probably help more than the Bills or those other teams that are already successful. They just can't.
I think someone like to beat the Chiefs.
Sure. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. If it comes down to that, it's clearly the Bills. I don't even think there's a better answer there. I mean, you could talk about he can go to the Ravens, but they already have one of the best coaches of this era, and John Harbaugh also. So. Any one of our divisional teams, he probably would maybe improve some of those teams, but maybe not really because they're. I mean, the AFC West division is loaded with incredible resumes from the coaches in this division. It's
4 Hall of Famers,
maybe the best ever.
Yeah.
As far as a collective,
have we ever
coaches,
seen this before?
Dude, Pete, I mean, it's crazy wild, bro. It is. This is. And honestly, it's going to make the story that much better.
Hell yeah.
Next year, if we become better, we win this division again with all the talent and all the coaching prowess in this division. It's something I ain't ever seen before as far as one division having this much greatness in coaching. So that's a good question, Dustin. I appreciate that. But I think the Bills would definitely be the answer there. Henrique, are we about to blow out the Eagles? We should have blown out the Bills.
Y'all are really trying to get us to get our predictions going, man. I'm gonna refrain.
Yeah.
What I will say is this: I think there are matchup advantages for the Chiefs that people aren't really paying attention to that they can exploit if they really want to. That if they do, I think that I really do believe this could be a 10-point victory for the Chiefs. I'm not saying I'm going to pick that. What I am saying though is that there are going to be
allowed.
There are going to be a couple. There are going to be a couple on both sides of the ball, Trevor, that we will talk about next week. So hold me to that.
Yeah.
That I've already pinpointed, I've already jotted down, that I think could, and it has something to do with the game that happened 2 weeks previous, not the Commanders game, but 2 weeks previous that I saw that stylistically are there.
Picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah. There was a lot of opportunities for that Rams team to win that game.
Yeah.
And
and it was the shitty weather.
Yes.
Things.
This will be in a dome.
The Eagles.
This will be in a dome with a quarterback that plays similar to Matt Stafford, who has weapons similar to the Rams. They play a similar style of defense. There were a multitude of opportunities for the Rams to win that game, and they squandered it. and that's something I'm gonna bring up on the show next week. And I'm gonna tell you guys right now that if the Chiefs exploit some of these mismatches that I see, this could be a fun game for the Chiefs.
And it's a team we've already beat. So, great. I know they have Saquon, but yeah, it's a team we already know we can beat. Julia Gulia, are we watching the AFC game? Rewatching the AFC game. Cook stiff arming Nazi and breaking off a huge run gives me anxiety. Tell me we'll be better.
Look, I don't know. I can't promise you that. What I will tell you is there was a mission from Spags and his defense. Their game plan was, we're not going to allow Josh Allen to run this game.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what happened. James Cook is a guy that you're just going to have to put up with. That's just an evil that you're going to have to put up with. And they did. And you saw in the fourth quarter, James Cook did nothing. In this matchup, there is a very good chance that Saquon Barkley does his thing. There's a very good chance because he right now is having a Barry Sanders type of run, literally.
Yeah, I'm on the other side of that, but yeah.
What I'm saying though is I do think that there's a chance that Saquon does a lot in this game. But would it shock you if Spags says, "Hey, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna make Jalen Hurts beat us. Jalen Hurts, you're gonna have to run. You're gonna have to throw the ball." Now, there are matchups for the Eagles offense in the air that can favor them in this matchup that we will talk about. But if I had my druthers, I would rather the Chiefs say, "Hey, listen, we're stacking the box every single play and we're blitzing all day long." Yeah. Saquon, good luck. Because Saquon said good luck to us. We'll say it right back to you. We're blowing the kiss.
Jalen Hurts ain't great against the blitz, guys. He's not good against the blitz. So there's that. We saw that in the Super Bowl. My God, he fumbled the ball all by himself and we took it home to the end zone. History could repeat itself too. I don't know. We'll get to those predictions next week. John Harrison. This is less of a question more than a statement. I was kind of racking up some of his statements. He was putting out some good ones out there, so I saved those. Here's my first matchup stat. I know we have a lot of stuff about the Super Bowl. So
real quick.
Yeah.
If you guys have predictions or takes on the Super Bowl, go ahead.
That's why I was saving.
Yeah. I don't want to make it feel like you guys can't have. Go ahead. Trevor and I are just reserving ours.
Yeah.
You guys go wild.
It's secret. You can't know.
Yeah. You guys go ahead. Seriously.
Here's my first matchup stat. Counting playoffs and 13 of 20 games, the Eagles faced run defenses that gave up 130-plus rushing yards a game. Eagles are great, but their opponents were crap. Facts, dude. That's why I had to put that out there because, I mean, it is true. Those are little nuggets to keep in mind, like the competition that they went against. A lot of bad run defenses that they're just taking advantage of and just running through. I mean, and Washington Commanders honestly being one of those teams too.
Was it 23 straight games now? The Chiefs defense hasn't allowed a 100-yard rusher?
I think we're arguably the best run defense in football, if not without question.
They haven't been great lately. Joe Mixon was doing his thing. He was averaging like 6.5 yards a carry.
Yeah.
James Cook was doing his thing too.
He averaged 6.5 because he had a couple big runs.
Yes.
But consistency, there's no consistency when it comes to opposition. Nobody's just like chunk after chunk.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, James Cook had a pretty good first half.
He had a couple big runs, and then he obviously scored. He was playing pretty well, but we don't let running backs consistently just eat us up.
Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah. So John Harrison follows that up with, as of right now, Chiefs have 6 picks, 32, 64, 66, 96, 133rd, 256. They traded 169th for D-Hop, swapped 210 and 256 in the Hardman deal, and sent to the 250th to Dallas for Hendershot. Should get a comp number 7 for Gay.
Yep.
So looking good, man. We got a decent amount of picks, and who knows? I think
that's 8 picks right there.
We could definitely get more too. You know, we all know draft day shenanigans.
The way they get another comp pick, John, correct me if I'm wrong here, but if they put an offer in for Trey Smith and he takes more money somewhere else, that I think there would be a compensatory pick that follows that as well, and that would probably be a 3rd or 4th rounder. So there you would have 8 to 9 picks right there. If you were to trade a player and get an additional pick, you have 10 right there. Yeah. There's ways for I think the Chiefs, their goal this offseason, if it's my way, and let's be real, Trevor, I'm not saying that they listen to me, but my last checkoff list was pretty fucking accurate. I'm just saying. If you ask me, Chiefs, real quick, I know you watch our show, I would get as many draft picks as possible because your team isn't old by any means. But some of these players, especially on the defensive side, are coming up for contracts. If you're looking to maybe replace some of these guys with younger, cheaper talent, get as many picks in this 2025 draft and do what you did 3 years ago in that 2022 draft. If you hit it like that again, this team's looking at another 3 to 5 years of contending for Super Bowls, which is exactly what this team wants to do.
I trust in Veach. Mac 10. The irony people praise. Let's go back to the Patriots discussion, talking about the revisionist history and shit.
Yep.
The irony, people praise Brady for his dink and dunk style. Now you have people like Skip calling it boring and not fun. What makes Pat special is his mobility and his moments to be safe and to be a hero.
That's Mac. I want to
spot on, bro.
Bravo to you for bringing this up, because this is something I was just thinking about this week, and I'm ashamed that I didn't bring it up earlier in the show. But I'm glad you said this. We heard guys like Skip, John Bayless, I'm going to call him John because he's unemployed, John Bayless and several other douchebags that just vehemently defend Brady's legacy, praise him for being that guy, like you said. Talking about how, he just did it the right way, and he just, played the game smart and just conserved the ball and, won Super Bowl after Super Bowl. Here's Patrick Mahomes essentially doing it the exact same way, and what's wrong with the Chiefs?
At a higher level, mind you.
Why aren't the Chiefs winning games more impressively? As if being down 28-3 in the Super Bowl was impressive. As if, the multiple losses that Brady had in the Super Bowl to Nick Foles and Eli Manning was impressive. Like, that's what's so funny about the disregard of the downslope of Tom Brady's career, the problems he had, or the inefficiency he had, the limitations he had. But Patrick Mahomes doing it the same way, but at a higher level, like Trevor's saying, is somehow worse.
Yeah, far less turnovers. Yeah. He's playing more safe.
Yeah,
and he has the ability to have a 2 rushing touchdown game.
And can I say this?
Tom Brady would never.
Maybe Trevor won't agree with me, or maybe you guys will think I'm just going way off base here. But I do think there's a little bit of racism in this. And I'm gonna be honest with you, Trevor. I think that's something, because we see Josh Allen and Joe Burrow get defended ad nauseum, no matter what they do or don't do. But Lamar Jackson does the same things those guys do, and he gets dragged.
Even more so.
Patrick Mahomes is the greatest football player we've ever seen for the first 7 seasons, and he doesn't get the same praise that guys like Tom Brady do.
Yeah.
Wonder why that is.
I mean,
I wonder if it was, if Patrick had straight hair and pale skin, if it'd be a little bit differently embraced. I actually do think there is a thing there, dude. I'm not trying to make it into that conversation, but what else is it? What else can Patrick Mahomes do?
Yeah, Pat's caught in this in-between situation.
I mean,
he can't really win on either side.
Can we not be real about this shit for a minute? Like, if he looked like you and I, Trevor, I have a feeling that there'd be more of an embraced vibe, because we like our quarterbacks white. People like quarterbacks. I'm just saying, dude.
I love my beige quarterback.
I'm just saying, a lot of people out there like their prototypical white boy quarterback. You know what I mean?
No, I get it.
6'4", cornbread, Melinda, rose the team rock. You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh, yeah.
There's something to that, man.
I mean, that you'd be an idiot to act like that's never happened or occurred in this industry for sure.
I'm just saying, man.
Never the spoken, though.
Never.
Noah John Marshall. What about KC switching it up and going jump and T eligible Humphreys and run right at Carter? Oh, run right at Carter. Okay, similar to how I guess we did with Joey Bosa back in the day.
Bosa, yeah.
Or Nick Bosa, I mean, yeah.
Well, it's gonna be a little bit more. It's gonna be a little bit more difficult in the way the Chiefs are doing things right now, because Caliendo's in the middle. What I will say though is, if you're going to be running through the C gap with Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey, there is going to be more success there. Here's the thing about Jalen Carter though, dude. He's really good at stopping the run. The Eagles are really good run defense.
He's mean, bro.
So I'm not going to make my predictions yet, but I do think there will be a challenge in the Chiefs being able to have a lot of success in the run game. Because as easy, not easy, but as constructed, the Bills defense was constructed to run against. They play a lot of zone. The Eagles play a lot of man.
Yeah.
And they play a very physical style of defense.
They're not a bend don't break defense. They want to stop you and take the ball away from you.
Vic Fangio plays a very physical defense. So it's going to be a very difficult. It's gonna be much more difficult for the Chiefs to run in this matchup than it was against the Bills.
This is a better matchup for Pat than it is our running game.
Exactly.
Pat, this is the kind of defense.
This is a throw defense.
Pat likes aggressive defenses, bro.
Because we talked about that previous matchup in the Super Bowl. These are two different types of defenses for both teams. Yeah. Now, Spags was obviously the DC the last time, but the Chiefs had the 16th ranked scoring defense back then. They have the 4th in this one. Much better defense this time around. The rookies like Trent McDuffie and George Karlaftis were in that matchup. They're veterans now. You know what I mean? These guys are established veterans, and the Chiefs didn't have Kareem Hunt in that matchup, to that credit as well. But they also didn't have Jalen Carter back then. Jalen Carter wasn't playing in that game. So the Eagles have a I think a better overall defense. That's why this, if I am going to make a prediction today, this is going to be more of a defensive game in that respect than that previous matchup. You're not going to see Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes chucking the ball over the field, scoring 65-yard touchdowns like you saw A.J. Brown get that one over McDuffie. Yeah. I don't think that's happening.
If this hits the over-under for 50, I'm taking the under for sure.
100%.
Yeah. Nobody's scoring 30 in this game.
And not to make this into a betting show, but we saw sharp money was quickly on the under.
Yeah.
They usually wait for people
now
to put the money on the over.
It's like 49.5, I think, right
yes.
now. 48.5.
Usually the sharp bettors, they'll wait until people tick the money up and then they take the under.
Sometimes it's better to get it early, though.
They immediately took the under. Yeah. And that's
just like the Chiefs being 1.5. Yeah, I mean, we'll get there. Only 1.5 point favorites. Give me that all day. Julia Gulia, in reference to last meeting, in your opinion, our defense better then, or now? As far as I think the last time we faced the Eagles compared to now.
Oh, it's without question better now.
Yeah.
Like I said, the Chiefs were 16. Now, I understand that the Chiefs had a high level of sack total that time. I think Chris Jones had 15.5 sacks that year.
Yeah.
They had more sacks.
I'll say the Eagles defense might be better too.
Yeah, without question.
They might be the best defense up there in football. And it's top three.
Both defenses were very sactual back then.
Yeah. We're the two leaders in sacks that year, weren't we?
They were sactual.
Yeah.
Very sactual. A lot of sexuality going on between those two defenses at that time. These defenses are without question better, though, as complete defenses now. If you're one of those stat geeks like I borderline kind of am with DVOA and things like that, the scores are so much better if you just look at the Eagles side.
Yeah.
Significantly better than it was back then. And
our offense is also better this time around.
Well, John's right. John Harrison's right in the fact that they didn't play as many great teams this year, but you should have looked at that, dude. That 2022 Eagles run was maybe the easiest ever.
Yeah, I mean, and the NFC was far weaker than it is now.
God, dude.
The Lions weren't the Lions
They
yet.
had the easiest schedule in the NFL, and I don't think they faced a starting quarterback until they faced Patrick Mahomes, who had one leg.
And go figure, their schedule wasn't too tough this year
That's
either.
what I'm saying, though. It was easier back then.
Yeah.
That's why they racked up all those sacks.
Yeah.
They were a little bit of an overrated defense. That's why the Chiefs put up 38 on them bitches. What I'm saying is, I think that there's no question that both teams are coming into this matchup with far better
Which makes
defenses.
this matchup so much more intriguing this time around, because both teams are better on probably both sides of the ball. Well, look, I don't know if their offense is... Well, their offense is better with Saquon, for sure.
Oh, without question.
Yeah.
And their offensive line's still elite. What I will say this, though, Landon Dickerson. That's all I'll say. The starting center for the Eagles is going to be out, and their backup center is not practicing.
Yeah. Chris Jones, do your job.
CG95. CJ95.
Stone cold, baby.
CJ95.
Big Mac's the sack. Big Mac's the sack.
I like the commercial that Patrick wasn't in.
Yeah. Dude, so good, bro. You know that dude is motivated too, seeing how emotional he was. I had never seen him that emotional on the sideline.
The chat's liking my sexual.
Yeah.
There's a lot of sexual harassment going on that one, dude. I'll tell you that right now. There's a lot going on that season between those two defenses.
Oh my goodness.
A lot of sacks was being had.
Yeah.
Saxy, and I know it, dude.
All right, sexual. Noah John Marshall,
Sax.
speak it. Why in the world is Nazi starting over Williams or even Roland Wallace? Keith Taylor has been inactive for the last 2 weeks, as is Wanye. I mean, I just think Spags maybe trusts him more than the other guys, and he hasn't played awful. He's had moments that makes him look like he's having a really bad day, but overall, I mean, we could do worse. But I mean, Nazi, it doesn't give us any kind of confidence knowing that Nazi's out there starting. But
Joshua Williams sucks.
Yeah, his fall off has been pretty bad.
Nazi Johnson's been just as bad.
Yeah,
I can't answer why Roland Wallace hasn't been playing as much.
Because
honestly,
played well.
Yeah, he looks pretty free, especially when he blitzes.
Yeah,
he looks really good as a corner blitzer. I can't give you an answer because it's kind of like the Joshua Uche thing.
Yeah,
they traded for him and he just never plays for the team. It's like it's almost like they take stabs in the dark, or maybe Spags sees something in the way Nazi plays that fits the mold better. I can't really explain it. I don't agree with it naturally, but Spags seems to keep believing in Nazi, and I think he looks like Philip Gaines half the damn time, dude. He's just getting burnt.
Yeah, I'd rather Hicks be out
Barbecue
there and
chicken
playing.
out
I'd rather
there,
play
dude.
Hicks at corner and spots than, you know what I mean? I would trust him to make a play.
Barbecue chicken out there, dude.
Yeah,
so I got. Hey, look, Nazi was a 7th round pick, so it's not like we had to sit here and expect him to be Champ Bailey. But damn, look better than what he's looked, man. Because if he's gonna keep being on the field, he better quit being a freaking detriment. Needs to be a net positive.
It wouldn't be so bad if he was such a bad open field tackler. He's a bad tackler. We're probably the best tackling team in football. He's one of the only weak links, so it stands out because everybody else in this team fucking tackles.
Yep.
We don't miss tackles like that, bro.
Yep, all three levels tackle.
He's the
very
only
well.
guy that had the really bad missed tackle last week against the Bills, and it's a glaring problem because our team is so good at tackling. We don't usually see plays like that, so it just stands out a lot more and puts him under a magnifying glass a little bit. To be fair to him, but
remember Orlando Scandrick? Yeah,
of course,
trying to forget him.
Yes, exactly.
I have a video.
Philip Gaines, guys like that.
One of these days, I want to show you. I think I made it as an L one of these times. I got my tweet made it to Pardon My Take. They had Orlando Scandrick on the show.
Oh, that dude! Oh,
and I burned his ass, dude. That was fun,
I
dude.
remember that dude is such a lame.
What I basically said was, it's hard. Most athletes are either really good at football but not great at like being a commentator, or the other way around. It's very rare you find one that sucks at both. That's Orlando Scandrick.
Yeah, Orlando Scandrick. God
he
damn
was
it.
terrible on TV, dude.
What a lame that
and
dude,
he was
man.
terrible on the football field, dude. That dude, like outside. Luckily, D Ford lined up off sides.
Yeah.
Because if it wasn't for D Ford, Orlando Scandrick was the one that was going to cost the Chiefs that AFC Championship. That dude was fucking atrocious, dude.
What a mistake bringing that guy.
God.
All he did was talk shit.
He looked
After he left, what a lame.
like
man.
Josie Aldo without hands.
Bro, that's funny.
Yeah.
Mac 10. Speak it. Of these three QBs, Allen, Lamar, and Burrow, which one will win a ring, get to the Super Bowl, but not get to Super Bowl or not win it, or never make it? Nick and Colin made a point that Burrow's in the bad spot because of owner. He's in the worst situation as far as who he plays for. Yeah, without question.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
I do think that Burrow's going to be one of those quarterbacks, unless something unforeseen happens where the Bengals completely turn the tide.
Well,
and start
Burrow's
spending
already
money.
been to a Super Bowl. And
Yes,
lost,
he had his shot.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very Dan Marino-like for Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
He may not ever make it back.
I don't think if I was to make a bet right now, 0.5 Super Bowls for his career, I'm taking the under.
Yeah.
I'm taking the under. The debate is going to be between Lamar and Josh, but here's the problem for both of them. They both play for franchises that I think will do what it takes to get to a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The problem is the time is running out for both of them because Josh will be 29 next season. Not that that's old.
Their best opportunities have already kind of passed them for at least the next few years.
Bro,
and Pat still has been the one that's successful.
Exactly. And it's not just because
it sucks for them.
It's
man.
not just because their teams were built to win at those times,
We
and
just
it's hard to
happen to
replicate that. It's because the Chiefs are going to continue to be better. Patrick's going it'd be one thing, dude, if Patrick was 35 right now.
Yeah.
It'd be like, okay, time's on their
They're all
side.
the same age.
Yeah, they're the same age. Patrick is like 7 months older than Josh Allen
man.
and like a half a year older than Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Dude, they're all aging at the same time, and Patrick plays the least athletic version of those three. He plays athletically, but his game is not built around his athleticism like those two are.
Yeah.
So the time is ticking on them, even though they're technically younger.
Their windows are much, much closer to being closed.
What I'm basically saying is this,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna be bold about this. I don't think either one wins a Super Bowl.
Oof.
I don't think either one's win a Super Bowl. And it's not because, again, I don't think they're going to have opportunities. It's because when they've been given, dude, they both just had home playoff games against Patrick Mahomes when Patrick Mahomes had his worst offense ever, and they still couldn't beat him.
It's wild because the best opportunity for both of them to beat Patrick Mahomes and have a chance of winning Super Bowl happened in the same goddamn season last year. And Pat still beat him, bro. So
it already happened, dude. They had their chance.
I would say Josh Allen has a chance, the best chance, I think, in my mind, to go win one.
Best chance, yes.
I think so. Because Lamar, I just can't trust him in the postseason.
Yep.
Josh has been great in the postseason. He just happened to have his biggest games have happened against Patrick Mahomes, and it's just not his fault. I mean, granted, he's lost to Burrow before as well, but I mean, I just honestly should have lost to Lamar too this season too. But it's tough, man. It's a tough question because of Patrick. I don't know when you're at. You're asking me with this question simultaneously as you're asking me when is Pat not going to
Let's say like Lamar or Josh played in the NFC.
Yeah.
This is a different conversation.
Yeah.
Because all they have to do is get to the game and beat Patrick, not get through him to get to the game.
Yeah, because I don't expect Patrick to have another second half like he did a few years ago against the Bengals.
Right.
He's yet to play like that since then.
So, the last 9 postseason games.
Yeah, you're asking me to predict when Pat's not going to be competing in the AFC Championship.
And everybody says this. Well, the Chiefs aren't going to keep winning the Super Bowls. How do you know?
Dude, if I'm going to answer this question, it's going to take a Patrick Mahomes missing a season due to an injury or something like that.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
the
Chiefs are going to continue to build this franchise the way they are.
I can't predict him not to be in there.
Their coaching staff's going to stay the same.
Yeah.
You say, well, the Chiefs aren't going to keep
Andy
winning.
Reid's here, as long as Spags here, as long as Chris Jones is playing still, even after those guys are gone, Patrick Mahomes is still with
the
Andy
Chiefs
Reid.
are going for the third straight and are the favorites to win next year.
Yeah, dude. I don't.
What am I missing?
That's a tough question because I can't help but not equate Patrick into this.
I think
what's Patrick doing during these runs?
I answer the question directly, but I'm going to answer it also kind of in an indirect way. I think the quarterback that has the best chance to win of all those is on the NFC side. I think of Jaden Daniels. Right. I think Matt Stafford, who, as long as he keeps
even
playing.
Baker, if they get that team together a little bit better too. Baker's played great.
Somebody on the NFC side has a much better chance of winning a Super Bowl than Josh Allen and Lamar, even though they're not better than them.
Sure.
It's because, like you said, they have to get through Patrick just to get to the game.
Yeah.
You don't have to on the NFC side. You can survive the
Caleb
NFC
Williams,
side
Caleb Williams
and just
something together.
get that one game between you and Patrick Mahomes at the dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's going to be much, much more difficult for those guys, even though they're better than a lot of these other quarterbacks, to get to the Super Bowl, let alone win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I do got to say, man, it is wild seeing Jared Goff in the MVP race and Patrick Mahomes going to his third straight fucking Super Bowl. Shit's crazy, bro.
What was I saying 2 months ago?
So wild.
Was I not saying this
Jared
2 months
Goff
ago?
and Joe Burrow. I mean, no, like statistically cool, man.
Yeah.
But like,
we don't even
value?
know. Trevor, we don't even know what it's
Value.
based on. Because last year, Lamar wins the MVP last year based on winning.
Yeah.
Not stats.
I mean,
his stats were ass.
Yeah, Lamar and Josh being in the race this year, that makes so much sense. Saquon, 100%.
Joe Burrow had no business being in that fucking thing.
Value
Jared Goff
equates to wins,
His
man.
team won a lot and he had good stats. But are you really telling me right now Jared Goff's more valuable than Patrick Mahomes, who led the league in game-winning drives with fourth-quarter comebacks? Give me a break, dude. Who missed half his roster due to injuries,
Jared
still
Goff
led the league in wins?
Yeah, man. It's just,
Fuck out of here.
It just turned my stomach lost because I was watching the TV and I happened to pop up and I was like, he's like fourth. Jared Goff, bro, is like fourth, and Patrick Mahomes is sitting in the ether somewhere at seventh or eighth, probably.
We're sitting here talking about how Sam Darnold,
Sam
Darnold is like as a pumpkin and all this stuff. You know, everyone's shitting on him right now.
Yeah.
He has the same odds to win the MVP as Patrick Mahomes. Think about that. Yeah. Sam Darnold, who lost early in the playoffs, choked his way out of millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Again,
is not going to be the Vikings quarterback next year. He's going to change teams. Has the same odds to win the MVP as Patrick Mahomes.
Listen, again, thank you. I hope Pat's not a Pro Bowler next year. I hope this trend continues. Because we'll just keep winning when it matters.
Keep fucking with this dude.
Keep your accolades. Keep your regular season accolades. You think Pat gives a fuck about that shit at this point, bro? It's wild. I mean, all it does is just motivate us to continue the greatness, bro.
What Patrick did is what LeBron did. He won his MVPs early,
Yeah.
got him out of the way. So if you don't want to give him anymore,
that's when the voters liked him.
Yes, and then they got the fatigue. So now you guys don't want to vote for him anymore. Cool.
Yep.
I already got my MVPs. I'm good. I got my regular season shit. Now I'm just gonna go for chips.
Yeah.
Fuck y'all. You don't want to give me what I deserve. I'm gonna go get what I deserve.
Yeah.
You don't want to give it to me. I'll go get it. I'll win Super Bowl MVP every year. How about that? Let's just do that.
Yeah. Thanks, Swifties. King Mo with the last question as far as right now. Are y'all convinced about Mike Caliendo going up against Jalen Carter? No, I'm not.
No,
that
God,
frightens the shit out of me. If I'm
God,
being honest with you, bro. King Mo, that is one of the things that scares me the most about this matchup, if I'm being honest with you, because Jalen Carter is a one-man wrecking crew, very reminiscent of a young Chris Jones, just a single-man wrecking crew, bro, and that guy frightens me. And Mike Caliendo, the Chiefs will figure it out, but they're going to be some doubling up on that guy. I mean, you kind of have to. So, no, yeah, we're all very concerned over here about that matchup. That's not something. Yeah, that's not something that we're.
And that's respect to Jalen Carter.
100%. Yeah, I mean, this isn't even a shot at Caliendo. That's a tough matchup for any of the best guards in this league. That's tough going up against that guy. He's wrecked damn near every game he's played in.
It's too late to start DJ Humphries at left tackle.
That would be wild if they switched up last
second. Too late to do it, motherfucker.
But that is it for the people, bro. Man, great questions. This is always fun. This is a fun little in-between, having this week off leading into next week's going to be a fucking great time talking about that game, even more at depth. You guys will get our predictions and all that. But, yeah, man, appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Awesome stuff, guys, as always. Every single week, you guys bring it. Love the chat, man. Chat's been on fire today as it's been on pretty much this whole damn season, dude. This has been so much fun.
Our guy Douglas Slyman in the chat. He says, "What's good, gentlemen? What's going on, Dougie?
What's up, Dougie?
Dougie Fresh. What's up?
Yeah.
Bro?
Welcome in, man. I'm glad you're with us, Trevor. Look, man. I don't think that we really need to go any further. Like I said, this is kind of like that pep rally, before the big show, before the big dance.
Yeah.
Next week's gonna be insane.
This is a fluffer.
We had to obviously do a show this week, though. Yeah, exactly. We had to get this thing going because we want you guys to get pumped and ready to go. That's what we're here to do. That's what this show's been all about. Like I said, and basking, enjoying where we're at right now, guys. Win or losing the Super Bowl, the Chiefs are here 5 of 6 years. Like I don't want to repeat what I said, but I'm gonna kind of repeat what I said. None of us actually thought this would ever happen. None of us.
Well, history's already been made because we actually made it to the Super Bowl. All the other teams that had a chance to three-peat didn't even make the Super Bowl.
Never done this.
The fact that we already made the Super Bowl is history in itself.
And the Chiefs have the Chiefs have. Think about how insane this is to say. I'm about to say this, and I can't believe I'm saying this.
Baby.
The Chiefs have a chance to be the greatest dynasty ever.
In a week.
I can't believe I'm saying that.
T-minus a week and 1 day, we had the chance to go down as the greatest dynasty in sports.
I can't believe I'm saying that, dude. Like it almost brings me to tears now. Like
wow.
Our team.
I'm gonna weep if we win this. I'm gonna weep I'm gonna sob like a little baby, bro.
You guys might get tears on me after the show after 304. Like you guys might get tears on me on the show.
This is something we dreamt about. This is something we dreamt about as kids, man. Like this is just not.
I can't. Like I said, I can't believe that just like you said, Trevor. Just the fact we're here.
Yeah.
And this is happening is what makes this so goddamn exciting, dude. Like I hate to say this because it also sounds kind of grim, but it's never going to be better than what it is right now. Like the era we're in right now, it's never going to be better than this.
Chiefs fans, when you wake up in the morning, look yourself in the mirror before that game starts, just tell yourself you deserve this.
Yes, we are
arguably the best fans in this sport, and we've been here through a lot of dark times for those that have been through it, man, with us, and we deserve this shit.
Yes,
and I'm just basking in the glory.
And yet, look, I will say this as a parting gift. You guys understand that with this comes a lot of bandwagon fans and things like that. And I will say this.
Sure.
Welcome aboard.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck.
Sign on
you know what? You know what I see when I see somebody wear a Chiefs jersey? Family. I don't give a fuck if they just became a fan. I don't care. Trevor, for the last 10 years, we've seen nothing but Steph Curry jerseys, Warrior jerseys. Who gives a shit? You know why? Because people love winners. Yep. And if you see people wearing your team's jersey, don't go, oh, I wonder how long they've been fans. That's a fresh jersey. Think of it like this. They're wearing Chiefs jerseys. What does that mean? They're the winners. People want to see winners. This is why when people talk about how I'm not watching the Super Bowl, god damn it, fucking Chiefs are there again. That's funny. Because I heard them say that about the AFC Championship. Yeah. Oh, and they broke records again. 57 million people.
I believe it's the third most watched NFL game of all time.
Ever.
Third most.
The highest AFC Championship game ever over Tom Brady and Peyton Manning of any viewers anytime. Think about that. So you guys sit here and tell me that you don't you don't want to watch this bullshit. The numbers tell me otherwise. You know what's going to happen in this Super Bowl? Another record's going to be broken. The Chiefs are going to break this record too.
You're goddamn right. John Harrison said this is your 302nd show, and Andy Reid's going to get his 302nd win next week. Right, that trend's been alive, baby. Let's go.
Goddamn right, John Harrison. Let's go, baby. That's what I'm talking about, baby. That's the kind of moxie we need up in this bitch. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm talking about, John Harrison.
Well, by the time the game starts, it'll be our 303rd show, and they're going to win our third Super Bowl in a row. So let's go, baby.
Way to tie that one in.
Let's go, baby.
I like the poetry up in this bitch. But no, that's what I wanted to bring you guys today because we had to get prepared for next week's show because it's going to be off the rails next week. Trevor and I are going to bring you guys full extent predictions of the Super Bowl. I want all your guys' takes. Bring the heat, bring the fire.
Clothing are optional.
Clothing is optional. Yeah. I will, for the betterment of your health, I'm going to wear clothing. So that will maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
I'll be bottomless probably. You guys won't.
I'll be topless. Trevor will be bottomless. Yeah, and we'll be doing
a little yin and yang action.
Yeah. We're gonna have to turn the lights way down, dude, because the glow is gonna be insane. Look at 2 glow sticks.
Oh man, I'm gonna be pink nipping it up.
Like, look at the hat right here. That's my guys. So that's what you're gonna get. There's nothing but just mayonnaise. Trevor, we have one more to order up is to get to what's it called?
Hold this L.
Each every episode, we finish off every single episode with a series of L's in the world of sports. Whether those L's are friendly L's or not so friendly L's in the world of sports, we promise you. Who's ever holding the L's in the world of sports deserve those motherfucking L's. Trevor Twidwell, who's holding the L for you this week?
I'm just going to play this clip for you guys real quick.
In terms of the refs, during the game on the X platform, the second the saw started to go down, in particular the 2 plays that you mentioned, the worthy drop and then the 4th down, you see things like hashtag rigged, hashtag like the fans are so tired of the ref show. In your opinion, if those 2 calls went Buffalo's way, is the outcome of the game different?
That's a pretty good question, Jim. I don't know. Because of what's been going on with the officiating with the Chiefs, yes, most people would say those are 2 plays that could have made a difference in the game. The bottom line is you just got to go out there and not play against the refs, but you kind of are to a certain point. And a lot of Chief fans are going to tell me that I don't know what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. That might be the case, but when you go into Kansas City, you got to beat a lot of people. You got to beat the team, you got to beat the fans, you got to beat the refs, you got to beat Taylor Swift, you got to beat everybody. And if you just go out there and throw that all out the window, go out there and play football and beat Kansas City at their own game and beat them, that all is never going to be said. And yesterday we didn't do that. So, again, a lot of questions need to be answered this offseason in Buffalo about what they're going to do coaching-wise, player-wise. The fans are going to still be there. You know,
That's enough. That's enough, Mr. Andre Reed.
Yeah, I don't know if it was. Julie said she couldn't hear very well, so kind of explain to people what was being said.
Okay, I'm sorry you guys couldn't hear that. Basically, Andre Reed was on the Jim Rome show.
Andre Reed's a former great Bill.
7-time Pro Bowler, very respectful player, has a good resume.
Part of the famous comeback, remember against the Oilers?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I respect a lot of these players, but sometimes, man, you can't take the emotion and the nonsensical part of their takes. They have very much player emotional takes. They're not analytical. They're not subjective, or they're not objective, I guess I should say, when it comes to their analysis of certain games. And we've seen this so many times with ex-players just having terrible takes after terrible takes. And it's no offense to them, but they played the game and they see the game a certain way, and it's hard for them to step outside of it, especially when they have, a bias towards a team. Guy like similar to guys like Andre Reed here. Basically, he was saying, when you got to go into these games, you got to beat more than just the Chiefs. You got to beat the fans. You got to beat the refs. You got to beat Taylor Swift. Those are words coming out of a grown man's mouth. A grown man, a dude in his 50s, talking about you got to go beat Taylor Swift. That's a serious thing he said.
Yep.
I had secondhand embarrassment listening to an ex-professional, 7-time Pro Bowl NFL player talking about beating the fans, beating the refs, and blaming Taylor Swift, basically. And then you got Sean McDermott following a couple days later, following that up with talking about, we're not going to get the calls. Bitches, bro. Bitches are going to bitch. This is I've never seen anything like this. I mean, I grew up during the prime years of Tom Brady. I saw the tuck rule. I saw things like that. I saw the butt fumble. I saw all these things that happened that went his way. I saw the most ridiculous roughing the passer call I've ever seen in my life against Chris Jones, against Tom Brady. This is the worst I've ever seen as far as bitching and trying to grasp for straws, anything you can, to blame anything other than you just holding a fucking L like a man. It's wild to me, especially ex-players. Guys that played the game, guys that went through hardships and lost big-time games and won big-time games. Andre Reed being a guy that was a part of a reason that his team won big-time games. And he's also endured losses as well. It's honestly, secondhand embarrassment is the only thing I can keep coming up with. I'm blushing, and not the good kind of blushing, every time I hear these kind of things. It's like I'm embarrassed.
Yep.
It's embarrassing seeing these coaches and these GMs and these ex-players coming out talking about the refs, coming out talking about the Taylor Swift effect, talking about the special treatment, and now people coming out trying to defend the Patriots dynasty and try to compare the two. It's just it's a wild time to be alive. I mean, it's great for us because we just get to sit back, kick our feet up, and just let these bitches bitch, because that's all this is. It's just a man-made narrative that's just trying to discredit what we're doing, because it's unprecedented what we're doing. This has never happened before, and it's making people very uncomfortable.
Yep. And
hearing things like that from ex-players, especially successful, he's not some peon. He's just a successful player. And up to this point, a guy I respected, to be honest. But that take is just, it's like he read something, he's just going and reading nonsensical Twitter comments and just taking note and just regurgitating it. It was embarrassing. So embarrassing. So for that, Andre Reed, everybody else who's making the same claims and same statements, regurgitating in the echo chamber that they live in, do me a solid favor and hold this still.
Speaking of embarrassing, I'm going to one-up Trev on this one, unfortunately, because this L is going to go to somebody who is addressing and bringing up a lot of things that are a lot more serious than just sports in itself. Trevor and I are big MMA fans. You know, we love the UFC, and we wish that we could talk more about it on this show. But obviously, this is more of a football-centric show, so that's what we stick to. But we love watching the cards, and we love the sport. It's a beautiful sport.
Absolutely.
But with that, unfortunately, there's in every sport a lot of bad eggs, and that's Bryce Mitchell. Because Bryce Mitchell started up his own podcast. If you don't know Bryce Mitchell, you're not missing much. But this guy is about as stupid as it gets. If I can just be real with you, he's yeah. I'm not going to go too far into it, but I will tell you what his and you'll understand real quickly if you don't know who Bryce Mitchell is. And you can find this yourself. I'm not going to make any of this up. These are direct quotes from the show. I didn't want to put his show on our show because I don't want to glorify his podcast. I just want to give you guys the quotes. Yeah. His very first episode, he says, quote, "I honestly think that Hitler was a good guy based on my own research. He fought for his country and wanted to purify it by kicking out all the greedy Jews." This is the same guy that also believes the earth is flat. He believes that he needs to homeschool his kids because going to school will make his kids gay and communists. This is also the guy that, for whatever reason, put a drill bit through his scrotum and pulled it back out and almost bled to death. So Dana White, the UFC president, didn't mince words as he usually does. He's a no bullshit kind of guy, which is something I definitely respect about Dana.
Incredible. It was incredible, dude.
He said, quote, "I've heard a lot of dumb and ignorant shit in my day, but this one is probably the worst. When you talk about Hitler, he was responsible for the death of 6 million Jews, and he tried to completely eliminate a race of people. Hitler is one of the most disgusting and evil human beings to ever walk the face of the earth, and anyone that even tries to make an opposing opposition is a moron. That's the problem with the internet and social media. You provide a platform for a lot of dumb and ignorant people." He goes on to say he was beyond disgusted by Mitchell's comments. He did confirm, however, the UFC would not be punishing the fighter, citing the Free Speech Act. Quote, "That's the beautiful thing about this business. For all of you that hate Bryce Mitchell, you get to see him hopefully get his ass whooped on global television." Mitchell, who has fought for the UFC since 2018 and won his last bout in December, made the comments in his first episode again on that podcast. He's known as Thug Nasty. He called Hitler, like I said, a good guy, and made a series of homophobic and anti-Semitic remarks, explaining his beliefs with his co-host on that regarding Germany's people, and outwardly denied the Holocaust was real. So obviously you guys know where this L is, the majority of this L is going to. It's obviously to the dipshit known as Bryce Mitchell. But I'm also, and I know that I completely love what Dana White said. I love that he outwardly came against it, as you obviously should if you're a human with two brain cells to rub against each other. But at the same time, I'm disappointed in the UFC and Dana White. And the reason why is this. Yes, you are, without question, able to speak your mind however you want, say whatever you're allowed. Bryce Mitchell is 100% allowed to say what he wants. He's allowed to have this opinion. And no one can, you can't tell him you can't say that. But you know what you can do as the UFC president? Not allow that guy to be on your platform. You can say, I don't want someone who is this dumb and this vitriolic to have an opportunity with the microphone. What if he doesn't? He's 19-2 in his career. There's a really good chance that Bryce Mitchell could win. What happens if he grabs that microphone? Now you can say, well, it's free speech, Lance. Yes, on his own terms, in his own place, in his own domicile. This is the UFC's brand and platform. You don't have to give him that opportunity to use and spew that bullshit on your platform. So although free speech is definitely a thing and it is real, and I actually support Bryce Mitchell being able to say what he said, as fucked up as it is.
Yeah.
But I would never have Bryce Mitchell on this fucking show because I don't want that piece of shit saying that shit on this show. I want him to be able to go and do that in his little backwoods area with his husband. I don't want him doing that with us. Just like Dana White shouldn't want that on his platform. He has a responsibility as a president, as a guy that runs this organization, to represent it to the best they can. Having dipshits like that on your platform doesn't help you at all. I don't care how good of a fighter he is. You should not allow that kind of idiot to represent your brand. People get fired. We saw the Eagles fan who called that chick a dumb cunt. Yeah. She called that Packers. What happened to that man? He was allowed to say that, lost his job because he represents a company. And there are consequences for your actions and your words as a grown man. You make grown man decisions, you live with grown man consequences. Trevor and I can come on this line and start dropping the N-word. Are we allowed to say those words? Yep. But would you want to listen to us? No. And if some dude hauled off and knocked me the fuck out, did I not deserve that? Yep. Because I got to live with the consequences of the stupid shit I say. So Bryce Mitchell and the UFC going to do me a solid and hold this L.
Yeah, I almost use that as my L too, but this is, man.
It's uncomfortable to talk about, but I
thought Dana did a good job at delivering his displeasure with.
Yes. And I believe him. I believe Dana.
Yeah, he kept making it very clear that he thinks he's the dumbest fucking person he's ever met in his life.
Yes. And he's right. The free speech, it's there. Well, he's allowed to, but you get what I'm saying, though, right?
Yeah, and I will say, I mean, there's been a lot of dumb things said by a lot of Strickland several times.
He addressed Strickland, too.
And Dana's always upheld his stance on free speech in the sport. So that's why they've
tough.
Not fired his ass, but at the same time, I mean,
look, I don't envy.
It's tough. It's a tough situation for Dana to be in.
Yeah, I don't envy Dana White's position.
No, that's tough, man.
You know how tough that'd be to be able to be in this situation, right? Because no matter what you do, you're going to be wrong in some people's eyes. I'm just saying that I would, knowing how much we care about this, like show in particular, this is much more small than the UFC.
Sure.
Would we ever, Trevor, want Bryce Mitchell on the show talking this shit?
Absolutely not.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, come on. And the idea that he has a real chance to grab that microphone, and now he knows that Dana White's against him. I don't know if you saw his recent tweet, but he goes, well, I'm going to change my name to something, it rhymes with Hitler.
Yeah.
He goes, that's my name, and he goes, I'm going to have Bruce Buffer announce it. Because Bruce Buffer has to announce his name.
I mean, it might get to a point where it forces Dana's hand. Because if he keeps,
I feel like he already has.
If you keep disrespecting the owner of the sport, then I mean...
Well, I mean, he put Dana White in this position to have to do this. Yeah. I feel like that's already worthy.
Strickland kind of learned his lesson and kind of cooled his jets a little bit.
Oh,
a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
But still, he kind of calmed down a little bit. So I mean, there is probably a limit, I would imagine, for Dana here. So I mean, if this continues, I would imagine Dana's probably like, you know what, fuck you, dude, you're done. And he has that power, and he can definitely do that. He doesn't. I don't think he wants to do that because that goes against what he stands for. But also. Again, everybody's got their limit, man. This is just a crazy time we live in, dude.
We had our limit with Andre Reed and Bryce Mitchell, so hate to clump them together because I think they're two significantly different people, but to either degree, they both caught L's today from the Spoken podcast. So, guys, I hope you've enjoyed the show. It went a little later than normal. We had a little bit of a later start, but that's how, man, we adjust here. That's what we do. It's life, and you guys adjusted with us. So, thank you guys so much for hanging with us on a different schedule. We will be back. I don't know what the schedule is for next week, Trevor, with the volleyball situation, but
I have to see. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, well, either way, we will be 100% here on Saturday. We're going to 100% do a show. We're going to 100% break down this motherfucking matchup. Super Bowl 59, guys, I'm so stoked for this, man. I wish it was this weekend. Unfortunately, we have another week to get to, so let's get through this one. Let's bear down. Let's listen to the national pundits tell us why the Chiefs can't win this game, and let's collect some receipts. So for that, for the great Trevor Toole that sits across me every single week, for the great Clay Winter that puts everything together on the back end of things at Red Tribe Cinema, for the entire Starcade Media community and family, I am Lance Twidwell. Episode 302 of the Spoken Podcast is done, finished, and finito. And so we're back here in 1 week's time to predict and preview Super Bowl 59 Chiefs versus Eagles. We out of this bitch.
Later.